Court. A special session for the County of Cumberland is now open and sitting for the dispatch of its business. The Honorable James F. Ammons, Judge, President, and Presiding. God save the state and this honorable court. Be seated, please.
I thought this was graduation. All right. This is the cap and the gown that my son wore in May when he graduated from Methodist. Got my Methodist tie on here. And I started to wear my Carolina blue robe since we won the national championship technically this year, but I thought since we were that ridiculous was enough. All right. Come on now, I'm trying to loosen you up. All right. I want everybody to have fun today. I'm going to try to make the rulings. Sometimes like a regular judge would, sometimes not. All right. So, we have a civil case we're going to try today. Somebody say yes or no?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to let, before we bring the jurors in, the lawyers introduce themselves. Let me find the caption here. For the record, this is case number 0711X. Dabney Hamlin, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is Dabney here? Okay. Versus Orange Inc. Who represents the corporation? What's your name, sir?
Need Works.
First name?
Need, N-E-V-E.
Last name Works?
Yes, sir.
They call you Never Works for short. And let me hear from the plaintiff's counsel. Who are y'all? Starting with you.
Morgan Fairclough. Stan.
Stand up. Who are you?
Morgan Fairclough.
Okay.
Molly O'Hara.
First name?
Molly
Last name?
O'Hara.
All right.
Sire Diggs.
Mr. Diggs. Seen you before.
Yes, sir.
Come on, spell your first name.
Z-I-D-R-E.
All right. And let's hear from the defense.
Nina Prather.
First name?
Nina.
How do you spell that?
N-I-N-A.
Last name?
Prather. P-R-A-T-H-E-R.
Perry, P-E-R-I. Louison, L-O-U-I-S-S-A-I-N-T.
Okay.
Habakkuk Curry, H-A-B-E-K-K-U-K, and then Curry, C-U-R-R-Y.
And who is our bailiff? Identify our bailiff. What's your name?
Jesse Wonders.
Okay, you the only one we have in here?
Yes, sir.
All right, now you got, hit this panic button up here if we have any problem with this crowd. So you open that door, make sure we get some help in there, all right?
Okay.
How about our clerk? Who's our clerk? And understand that you are with the union and that you can't work with half the trial, so we're going to have another clerk come in, is that right? Who is that?
Stand up.
All right. Court reporter, we're recording all of this. Understand we have pre-selected the jury and they're outside waiting in the jury room before they come in. Is that right? Any pre-trial motions that you want to hear outside of the presence of the jury? Any motions in limine? Any motions prohibit testimony of the expert?
And at this point, one attorney from each side would stand up and say, "No, Your Honor."
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Nothing for the defense?
No, sir.
Nothing for the plaintiff? Y'all ready to bring the jury in? All right, Mr. Bailiff, bring in the jury. Let me welcome our jurors. Today. We're trying a civil case today. My name is Jim Ammons. I'm the judge in the courtroom this morning. And let me introduce the parties to you at this time. This is a civil case between Dabney Hamlin. We can stand up and face the jurors. And she's the plaintiff in this case. The defendant is Orange Incorporated, and it's represented by Mr. Neverworld. So, the plaintiff, we will have the burden of proof on most of the issues in this matter. Is represented by Pretending Attorney Morgan Faircloth, Pretending Attorney Molly O'Hara, and Attempting Attorney Zaire Diggs. And the defendant is represented by wannabe counsel, Nina Prather, attempting at law, Gary, Louisiana. And I'm no relation to Seth Abika. They need to be able to take notes. So here, give them some pencils so they can take some notes. All right? Now, as I said before, this is a civil case. Involves the defendant Dabney Hamlin versus Orange Incorporated. This is a claim in negligence for the negligent design of some type of phone or something. I don't know. I didn't really read this. So, will there be an opening statement before for the claim? All right. Court recognizes Attorney Faircloth.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, before she starts, let me tell you that an opening statement is not evidence in the case. It's simply an outline of what competent and admissible evidence will be. Opening statement, like I said, is not evidence and must not be taken by you as evidence. You may proceed.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. My name is Morgan Faircloth, and today I'm here to represent my client, Dabney Hamlin. On December 14, 2006, a 19-year-old girl's phone was hacked. That day forced her to drop out of school, move back in with her parents, and put her entire life on hold. She then, Orange Incorporation, due to their negligence, she lost her sense of security. Because she had to drop out of school, she had to put her whole future on hold. Orange Incorporation put the security of my client's personal information in jeopardy to gain a financial advantage against their competitors. That Chris's bonuses were more important than my client's future. The plaintiff's team will call witnesses to the stand. We will begin with Dabney Hamlin, who will let you know firsthand the stress that she had to go through. We will then call former Orange Inc. employer Jody Franklin to the stand, who will testify that the security of the phone did not meet the completion of their testing, that Orange Inc. was negligent. Then we will call a young hacker, Slack Sawyer, who will testify that he was able to hack into Dabney Hamlin's phone, which the defense will try to tell you is unhackable. We will then call expert witnesses, Taylor Brazil and Aaron Johnson, to the stand, who will testify and explain the process that a hacker must take and the information needed to properly hack a device. They will then explain the simplicity of hacking the Me phone. We ask that you listen carefully and place yourself in the shoes of my client and her families and find Orange Inc. negligent for my client. Thank you.
All right. Who speaks for the defendant?
I did your
Attorney Prather.
Yes, sir.
You may proceed.
Good afternoon, jury. My name is Nina Prather, and I'm an attorney for the defendant, Me Works, and the corporation Orange. We are here today to discuss the accusation from Dabney Hamlin of negligence. I'm going to start by a little bit differently than an opening statement normally would. I'm going to go based on the assumption that at least one of you is a parent. Now, parents spend their entire life growing and raising and developing their child, and then they grow up to the age of one day where they are no longer at home. They no longer necessarily need the constant care and support from their parents from a close range. They grow up and they go on and they do their own things. The same thing goes for a business. Me Works spent his entire life building up this corporation from the ground. He started from very humble beginnings in the garage of his parents' house. He then grew to a multi-million-dollar corporation that he has today. He created the Me phone. and he has spent his entire life making this at the best that it can be. Now, he takes care of his consumers and makes sure that everything that they have is the best that it can be for them and protects them from any potential harm. Now, once the product passes into a consumer's hands, it is then their responsibility to take care of them. And we are here today to show that we did our part in taking care of our consumers, and that it is the plaintiff's responsibility to uphold that as well.
All right, call your first witness.
Plaintiff would like to call Gabby.
Okay. Mel, tell them what to do.
Please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand.
Madam Clerk, you swear to the witness.
Please, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Could you say your name for the record?
Gabby Hanson.
And how old are you, Gabby?
22.
Where are you from?
Texoma.
And where are you currently living?
I recently had moved back home with my parents.
How old were you when you got your first phone?
16.
And what type of phone was it?
It was like a little pink, like razor phone.
Was your Me phone your first smartphone?
Yes.
Do you have any other Ori products?
I do.
Can you tell me what that is?
I have the Me Pad, the Me Stack, and the Me Piano.
Do they all work with each other?
Yes.
When did you first get your Me phone?
I got it when it first released, so I stayed outside the night before at like 8 o'clock, so like December 12th, I was outside and I waited until December 13th when they released the phone.
So what were some of the, or how much did you pay for your phone?
$599.
What were some of the things that you could do on this phone?
I could take pictures and videos and upload them directly to my social media, like my MySpace, and I could download music, and it was like a little mini computer
How often did you use MySpace on your phone?
every day.
And how did you access it?
It was Safari.
Was Safari already on the phone when you got it?
Yes.
Did you ever create a shortcut to the page?
Yes.
And how did that appear on your phone?
It was like this little tile with the MySpace logo on it.
Was it in the Safari app or was it on the phone?
It was on the Safari app.
So after the phone release, did you keep up with the news on it?
Yes.
Did you ever see anything that concerned you about it?
I saw an article about the possibility of the phone being hacked, but I wasn't worried about it because I knew people weren't fix it.
Had you had problems with your orange products in the past?
No.
After this article was released, were you contacted by anyone from Orange?
No.
And did you ever receive a software update?
No.
How long did you have your phone before you realized it had been hacked into?
I had it for about 3 months because I realized in the middle of January.
And how did you realize this?
I got my credit card statement.
When did you get the statement?
I got the statement January 20th
And why did you get it so late?
because when I applied for my credit card, I applied in the middle of the month, so my statement only comes in the middle of the month.
And how long had you had a credit card?
Since I was 16.
Was there anything irregular on the statement?
Yes.
Your Honor, permission to the first witness.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please tell me what this document is?
It's my credit card statement.
And how do you know that it's your credit card
It
statement?
has my name and my personal information on it.
Have any alterations been made to this document since you've seen it last?
Yes.
Can you please tell me what they are?
There's certain things highlighted.
Alright. Can you please, alright, so when you got the statement, what did you notice about it first?
That my activity, the price, the number was a lot higher than it normally is.
How much is your bill usually?
$500.
And how much is this bill?
$3,309.92.
Can you tell me what some of the regular charges were, please?
The first one is necooljumpz.com, and that was for $459, and then Digby Duds for $325, necooljumpz again for $602, joppatix.com for $265, car for $223, necooljumpz again for $101, Web Electronic Stuff for $427, and then necooljumpz again for $401.
About how much did these charges add up to?
Close to $3,000.
What did you do when you got this statement?
I called my company, the credit card company,
And what did they tell you?
that there's other charges being made in my name.
So what'd you do about it?
I canceled my credit card.
And did you get a new one?
No.
Why not?
I was supposed to, but I called later in February because I never got it, and they told me that they had to cancel my account
And why did they cancel your account?
because my credit score was ruined and there were just charges that kept on coming.
What were some of these charges?
They bought boats and cars and concert tickets and like violent video games.
After you got this, did you ever get a credit report done?
Yes.
And what did that report say?
That my credit statement, that my credit score is ruined. I used to be at 750 and now it's like in the 400s.
And did they tell you anything else?
But the charges are still being made.
And how are these charges still being made?
They're making other accounts with my name and my information.
And what information did they need to open these accounts?
They needed my name and my social security number.
Is there any way they could have gotten your social security number? No. Your statement says that you lost your wallet a few weeks prior to this. Is that right? Yes. What was in your wallet when you lost it?
My wallet contained my credit card, some cash, and my ID.
And what did your wallet look like?
It was one of those little zip pouch wallets that have a clear outside so you can see your ID at all times.
And was the wallet ever returned to you?
Yes.
Who returned it?
Hack, I swear.
What is your relationship with him?
We went to the same school and I would see him around campus sometimes. And we went and had cheese fries a couple of times, but other than that, that was it.
Was anything missing when you got the wallet back?
Not many.
So were you worried that anything had
No,
happened?
not at all.
And do you keep your social security card in your wallet?
No.
So how has the financial struggle affected you?
Well, since my credit score and everything's ruined, I lost my financial aid because I lost my scholarships, so I had to drop out of school because I could no longer afford it. And then in the meantime, while I was filling out all the paperwork for my identity theft, my grades started to slip, so I would have had to leave school anyways.
Did you find any other evidence that your phone had been hacked into?
Yes.
Can you please tell me what it is?
A video of me on YouTube playing Guitar Star.
And how did you know that the video was of you?
It is clearly me in the video playing, and you can see in the background that is my bedroom.
Were there any specific indicators that it was your bedroom?
There's a tapestry on the wall that is mine.
Your Honor, at this time I'd like to play the video for the court.
That sounds like fun. What do y'all say? I'm sorry?
We don't object.
Oh, you don't object? Okay.
Clark, could you please turn the light on? Thank you.
What was that song?
I don't remember.
So, how often do you take videos of yourself?
I don't.
So, there's no way you took this video of yourself?
No.
Do you have any idea how it was taken?
I know where it was, like, my phone was, like, propped against my knee piano, but I wasn't recording. It was just on my piano.
Has this video had any effect on your life?
Yeah. I'm embarrassed. My family's embarrassed. This video was just of me playing the video game, but it could have been something worse. I could have just gotten out of the shower or something. Like, I'm scared that they could have done anything else, like me doing anything else in my room.
Do you have any idea if it happened to your phone?
It's hack Sawyer.
Objection.
What's your objection?
Uh,
First part was good, let's see about the second part.
Maybe a little spread.
There is speculation, that word.
I'll let you cross the camera about that. Oh,
And he's also the one that returned your wallet to you?
Yes.
So, what were the overall effects of your phone being hacked into?
Well, my credit score is ruined. I had to drop out of school. I can no longer, like, continue on my career. I had to move back in with my parents. Like, it's just ruined my life. Like, my family's embarrassed. Like, my little brother's traumatized. Like, his big sister is on the internet making a fool of herself. My life is ruined.
No further questions?
we witnessed.
When attorneys doing cross-acts, you may come up here.
You were a student at college, is that correct?
Yes.
And you stated in your affidavit that you had to drop out of school because of your ruined credit and loss of your scholarship?
Yes.
Are you aware that there are many options for students that don't require credit scores? Did you ever think about that, other ways to pursue your education?
Yes.
What were they?
I was going to try and go back to school once it's well fixed, but it's kind of hard right now.
Well, let's go back a bit. When did you claim that your phone had been hacked into?
I noticed in January,
What time is that?
January 20th. When I got
In
my
your
paper
statement,
statement.
it actually says right after New Year's.
I got my statement on January 20th, though. It was after New Year's.
How did you notice
Knows what?
that your phone had been hacked?
Well, my credit card statement and then the video of me came from my phone. That's how I noticed all this stuff. I didn't do it.
Going back to my previous question, on line 39 of your affidavit, it was after New Year's when I realized that my phone had been hacked into. Is January 20th the year New Year's? Objection.
Overruled.
After New Year's. I stated after New Year's. It was after New Year's.
Does it
It's
say
still
that January is near the end of? It's near the end of the month? January 20th is near the end of travel?
It's still after New Year's.
It's true.
And you assume that this must be because your phone was hacked into.
Yes,
But didn't you lose your wallet in PJ a few weeks before?
I did.
And you discovered that someone had been using your information to buy some pretty expensive items, correct? And this person had been using your information since around the time you lost your wallet, which is about the middle of December.
It could be. Yes.
How did you lose your wallet?
I don't know. I just noticed. I think I probably dropped it when I was walking on campus.
So what did you say contained your wallet?
It had my credit card, cash, and my ID.
And who returned it to you?
That's where.
Do you know this person very well?
Like I stated, I've seen him around campus and we've had cheese fries a few times.
Would you say that you trust him?
What's the relevance of this?
I wouldn't, a regular person wouldn't trust somebody with their card and bank information, such as like their credit card or ID and cash, if they didn't know them very well.
Yeah, she
How's
just,
that? Go ahead.
yeah, she just pretty said she lost it, so.
And the person I returned it to them was the same person that hacked into her phone.
Okay, I'll allow it. Oh. You can ask a question. You can ask a question.
I don't remember the question. How did you lose your wallet and who returned it to you?
I dropped it while behind campus and Hack Sawyer returned it to me.
And you trust this person?
I got not touch my stuff, yes. Because nothing was missing in my wallet.
You don't think it's probable that someone could have taken your bank information from the card that was in your wallet and then just put it back in your wallet?
You have to have my.
Just speculation.
Oh.
And you were very proud of your credit statement at one point, correct?
Yes.
It was over 700?
Yes.
And what is it now?
400.
How much do you spend on your credit card monthly?
500.
Every month.
Around that, yes.
What do you usually buy that costs you about $500 a month?
I really just, like, if I'm hanging out with friends or going out, like, buying food and stuff, it just adds up eventually, but it's only 500 to watch my spending.
$500 a month.
Around that, yes.
Do you have a job?
Not anymore.
How do you pay everything back?
Well, when I had a job, I would use my paycheck, or I would sell things and just pay it back.
So how do you pay it back now?
I can't. That's the problem.
Did you have a job when you were in school?
Yes.
What was it?
I worked at the diner.
How do you know Hack Sawyer?
I know him from school.
Or is there anywhere else you would know him from? Did you have a class together?
Yes.
Where did you go when you were around him?
What do you mean?
Did you go anywhere together?
We had class and
Jackson, relevance.
Overruled.
Did you ever go anywhere together?
we had class together, and then, like I stated, we went and had chips fries a few times at the local diner.
Would you consider yourselves friends?
Not really. We stopped contacting each other.
Would you say that you know him very well?
No, no enough.
If you didn't know him very well, what did you talk about in your time together?
Talk about class. We were in the same class. We would talk about our assignments.
Do you have any other people that you don't know very well that you have lunch with on a regular basis?
So that's the time to stand up and say objection. Stand.
Are you aware that Hack is a known hacker and has been affiliated with such acts?
I didn't have time now.
During the times that you were with him, is it possible you could have physically had access to your phone?
No, but I always had it on me.
Not even when you walked away from the table?
I kept my phone on me.
Your Honor, permission to questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you familiar with this exhibit? Could you explain what it is?
It says,
Are you going to introduce that into evidence? You can show it to her, and then you can ask her questions about it. But unless you're going to introduce it into evidence, she cannot read from it.
Your Honor, permission to enter exhibit 3.
Objection, lack of foundation.
Sustained.
Exhibit 3 is the article that came out that suggested that a knee contract might exist. Which are you familiar with?
Why don't you hand it to her and ask her if she knows what it is?
Are you familiar with what it is?
yes.
When
When you first bought your Mecum, were you aware of the hack that was potential income?
No.
When you did hear about it, did you do anything to protect yourself against it?
No, it was works about Orange to fix it.
But you didn't do anything to protect yourself against it?
There's nothing that I was very concerned about.
Are you familiar with the Mecum warranty?
Yes.
Do you remember what it states?
It says it was damage to the phone, you guys are fix it.
Damage to the phone.
Damage to
Such as- Such as what?
I don't know.
Okay, there's a part in the warranty that states, this warranty excludes consequential damages resulting from any use of the vehicle not authorized by you. In other words, unauthorized between third parties. Do you know that? Are you aware that this warranty comes with every single purchase made for an income?
Yes.
No further questions?
Okay. Redirect.
Well, Your Honor, at this time, we would like our jury to say.
Okay, thank you, Andy and Heather. Come up.
Please place your left hand on the Bible and your right hand up.
State your name.
I'm Jody Franklin.
Your Honor, excuse me a minute, we need to take this off the screen.
Yeah.
Can you give your name for the record
I'm Jody Franklin.
and how old are you?
I'm 48 years old.
And
I'm originally from Poughkeepsie, Pennsylvania, but I live in Lajala, California.
how do you know that?
I know of Dabney because I know her parents. Both of us share adjacent timeshares in St. Thomas and the U.S. Virgin Islands, and I've met them on like social occasions.
So are you personal with?
No, I don't know her personally.
So what is your education background?
In 1982, I graduated from Penn State with a bachelor's in computer engineering, and then in 1984, I graduated from MIT with a master's in computer science.
And are you currently employed?
I'm self-employed out of my own home. I'm a computer security consultant.
And when did you first start working on Orange?
Right after graduate school.
And what was your first job on Orange?
I was a systems engineer.
And this consists of,
It kind of depends what job you're on. It's like a technical support job. At the time when I first got the job, I was on a development team of the product we were working on.
and did you get any promotions in Orange?
I did. I got a few promotions. From that, I was systems engineer 2. Then I became senior systems engineer. And then I became VP of systems implementation and design.
And what projects have you worked on while at Orange?
I worked on various projects while I was at Orange, like the Meet Tote, the Meet Book, the Mia, and the Meet Phone.
And how long did you work for Orange?
20 years.
And around what year did Orange begin to develop the phone?
It was early 2004 when it first came out.
And you were on a project team?
I was.
And who else knew about this project?
It was a secret project at the time. It was called Project Zenith, and it was just the design team and then the executive management of Orange.
And during this time, during the creation of VPhone, what problems were known at the time?
During this time, a lot of technology companies started seeing a lot more computer viruses and issues like that come up. The big problem was starting to show was unauthorized access, which is where somebody from a remote location can basically hack into your device. Like if I had my cell phone here, Judge Ammons could be across the street, but he could hack into my phone and get my information.
And so for this project, did you all bring anybody in for security purposes? For this reason?
I did not add anybody else to the project, but I was informed by HR that they would be adding someone, Robin McGonigal.
And did you have a say-so in this?
No, I was just told.
And was this person ever part of your training team?
No, she wasn't a part of the contract.
And when Robin started getting on the team, what did she start working on?
She basically did what I did. She worked on the like implementation and design and then the security aspect of it.
And what were her ideas that she brought to the
She brought security ideas. She wanted to focus on cloning and eavesdropping.
And can you explain to the jury what this means?
Cloning is where you can just make the same phone. Like if you were to clone my phone, you can have the same phone as me. Eavesdropping is you can hear what I'm saying on my phone. Like if I'm talking to someone on the phone, you can hear whatever I'm saying.
And what was your main focus on this project?
I did disagree with her about focusing on cloning and eavesdropping. I thought that we should focus on building secure firewalls and the unauthorized access.
And can you explain what these firewalls mean?
Firewalls, they're it's basically like a roadblock between the portable device and the internet. It stops like the bad stuff from coming in, such as viruses or hackers, and then it lets the good stuff through. And you're able to know if your firewalls are secure or not because of penetration testing that we do.
So you were more focused on firewalls, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, I would like to enter plaintiff exhibit number 2 and approach this to the jury.
Any objection? All right, plaintiff's exhibit number 2 is in. Is that plaintiff's exhibit number 2?
Yes.
Right, that's not what I have. Oh, you changed numbers. So that makes a difference. This is plaintiff's exhibit number 2, I thought.
So you would like to introduce plaintiff's exhibit number 3, am I correct?
Exhibit number 3.
I'm not sure what plaintiff's exhibit number 3 is. Why don't you show it to her?
And get her to identify it.
You know what this is?
That is a graph from the firewall.
Yes, okay. Will this help you in your testimony to explain to the jury what firewall is?
I think the jury would better explain or understand if I explained it, yes.
I don't know, like, interest number 3 is published to the jury.
You got number 3? Okay. What did you have for 2? Number 1? That was the defense, number 1.
Objection.
What I did? Sorry?
He never introduced her as that.
I'm just introducing this into for a citizen.
Okay, hold on a second. All right,
So how is she qualified?
hold on. This is plaintiff number 2. This is defendant's number 1. Neither of which has been introduced nor shown to the jury. That's plaintiff's number 3, which you object to the introduction of that? On what
Yes, sir.
grounds?
On the fact that he never introduced her as an expert witness to explain.
Okay. What's your response to
Your
that?
Honor, my client has worked with Orange Company for 20 years, and she was the vice president of system engineers during this time, so she will be able to explain what firewall is.
Your Honor, she only worked on.
Hold on. Your client?
Your
My
witness.
witness,
So are you offering her as an expert or not?
you know,
You're not offering her as an expert. All right. That exhibit number 3 is admitted. You may come down and explain it to the jury.
Okay, so like I said earlier, here are your portable devices, a phone or a computer. This is the bubble of internet. Like I said earlier, this is like a roadblock. This is the firewall. The best example I can give as if you're on your phone or computer, if you wanted to download something like iTunes or a program or like an antivirus program, the firewall is going to let the good things come through and back to your portable device. Now, if you're trying to download something off a website that the firewall picks up viruses or other bad things,
it's gonna reflect it, and it's not going to be able to come into your phone or your computer. And as I explained earlier, that we do know if the firewalls are secure or not through our penetration testing.
So how would a firewall know not to let unauthorized access through?
Because of the penetration testing that we go through.
And earlier you said you were a VP, correct, on this project?
Yes.
And who do you feel like had the more say-so on this project?
Because Orange started focusing more on cloning and eavesdropping, it did seem that Jody had more of an ear for the executives. Or not Jody, Robin, sorry, I'm totally Jody.
So more time went into anti-cloning and eavesdropping, correct?
Yes.
So for security measures, what did this mean?
Well, the phone wasn't as secure as what it could have been.
And what year did you all start working on the prototype?
It was probably mid-2005 during the summer.
And what issues did the phone have?
You had your normal like hardware and software issues, but as people know, iOS updates, like once those came along, like we fixed those. But again, there still weren't secure firewalls, so the phone was not as secure as what it could have been.
And when did these issues first come to light?
I brought them up at our development, or the meeting, talking about the development and the marketing plan of the new phone. The people on the project team and the people of the executive management team of Orange were at this meeting. Gwen Stevens was there. She is the VP of marketing for Orange. She announced that she wanted to put the phone out by Christmas 2006. This meeting was in April 2006. I said that the phone would not be ready by then because not all the security checks were done. There were still security issues. And Robin stood up and said that the security issues were fixed and everything, like the phone was fine and it was ready to be put out by Christmas.
So why didn't you bring your concerns directly to the CEO of New Works?
He was present at the meeting. He wasn't physically there, but he was watching through the video camera. So he heard it.
And did you come up with any ideas to validate the security for the new phone?
I did. I brought my idea of bringing in white hat hackers. That's a program where people are basically hired to come in and try to hack your product. It's a totally like safe company. They come in, they sign the contract. We tell them what they can and cannot do with our device. We don't give them information like necessarily about the phone or the company, but what we do is we give them the information of what is on the phone. Like if there's like a certain, like if we tell you to hack this person's camera roll or the photos, we tell you that this picture's here and to try to hack into that to get that.
And you brought this up to Orange. Did they go along with your idea?
Of course they do.
So even with all these security measures still didn't even work, Robin told everyone that the security issues had been addressed?
Yes, because they all wanted it.
Objection, leading.
Relate to that.
Sorry.
Overruled.
Yes, they all wanted it to come out by Christmas 2006 because there were competitive companies also putting out cell phones, and they believed that they would not make much of a profit if it came out after Christmas.
So during the meeting, right after they had pushed it, what did you do next?
Do I need to
Objection,
stand
Your
up?
Honor.
Thank you. Last year, I think you did jumping jacks for us. I hope you don't have to do that again this year.
What's your objection?
Can you lead them?
Yeah, leading.
Thank you. Praise the Lord.
Sustained.
So after this, what did you do next?
After the meeting.
Yes, after they had pushed it.
Okay, after Robin stood up and said that everything was fine, the phone was secure, and the executive management team said, then that's fine, we'll push the phone out by Christmas. I just told them that they had no idea what they're getting themselves into. They're going to have a lot of problems in the future with security issues such as hacking, and I left the meeting.
Did anybody agree with you?
Yes, Lynn Bergamot was in the meeting. She was on the project team, and she agreed that if the phone was not secure, that it shouldn't be put out.
So from your knowledge, if Orange completed the firewall validation, you wouldn't be here today.
I don't think we would have as many security issues now.
No further questions.
Your witness.
Jody, so you did not work with the security of the phone, correct?
I did.
But you had no background in security, correct?
My thesis did involve some like in and out, lockout.
So like you knew a little bit, not a lot.
I was aware of what security implementation was, yes. I was on the implementation team.
Okay. So you worked on like the engineering and design aspect of these products.
Yes.
You worked on all these projects, including Project Zenith, right?
Yes.
And what part did you claim Project Zenith again?
I was on the implementation team, the design of the phone.
And I believe Project Zenith was a top secret project, correct?
Yes.
So, since the project was, top secret, that someone within the company could have hacked the system?
No, I don't believe it.
Without any speculation.
Overruled.
Because, it's top secret, so I don't think anybody else outside of the company would be able to know anything about.
Well, the phone wasn't done yet.
You stated that you wanted to bring in reform hackers to hack the new phone, right?
I did. There are some reform hackers in white hat hacking, but not all of them are reform hackers.
Are reform hackers like criminals?
They're ex-criminals, yeah, they are.
So you don't want ex-criminals to have access to something that was top secret?
Like I said, it's safe, and who better to do it than people who know what they're doing?
You're going to be able to watch all the criminals while they're hacking the system?
Yes, so we know if it's happening.
So I thought that they brought in Robin to do the security on the phone.
Yeah, she was there to work with us with the implementation.
So wasn't she more qualified than you were?
I don't know her whole background, so I'm not qualified to answer that.
You consider Robin an outside person?
I do.
Why?
Because she didn't work for it.
But she got hired, right?
Yeah, then she didn't become an outside person because she was then hired.
Are you putting your personal feelings or business?
Yes.
What's the grounds?
Her personal feelings has nothing to do with this.
It was probably pretty interesting, so. Overall, let me ask the question.
No, I don't have personal feelings. If you don't work for Orange, you're an outside person of Orange.
Okay, why did you think it was a mistake for them to hire Robin?
I thought it was odd that they hired someone not a part of our company to design or to assist designing one of our products.
And what was your relationship with Robin? You were over her?
No, we were just kind of like worked together. There was no real rank between us.
Okay. In your fact statement about reading it over, you were constantly bashing her. Were you jealous of Robin because she's more qualified than you?
Am I allowed to read that? I'm not sure when I bashed her.
You want to may I touch your witness?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just read lines 1 through 5.
She never showed the plaintiff.
It's the deposition, right? Y'all have a copy of it.
And not the deposition, it's the fact statement.
The facts.
They have a copy.
You want me to read these five out loud? Yes, ma'am.
Bailiff, you need to keep this courtroom quiet, please.
All I can say about that is McGonagall must have the good on somebody. I now refer to McGonagall as me-Conical. It is clear to me that Orange and McGonagall never completed the firewall validation and implementation.
No, you're good. Thank you. So it sounded like, so you made fun of her last name?
I did call her McGonagall because of the me phone, but I don't see how that's bashing.
Sound like jealous feelings to me.
I guess that's your opinion.
Give me a second to go back to my question. So you were not intimidated at the fact that she specialized in the field that you were in charge of?
I'm sorry.
You were not intimidated at the fact she specialized in the field that you were in charge of?
No, like I said, I wasn't intimidated. I just thought it was odd that they were bringing her in.
So what is your relationship with Dabney?
Dabney, like I said earlier, that I know her parents because I've met them on social occasions in the Virgin Islands.
And in your statement before you said that you didn't know her personally? You guys went on time she was together?
No, we didn't go together.
Or you guys just, your family and her family just had?
I went, and then that's how I met her parents because they were there at the same time.
Okay, and she wasn't there at all? Okay. But you saw her at other, like a family reunion, was it?
Yeah, I did. Like I didn't go talk to her, but I think she was probably there with her boyfriend or something because I didn't know her.
Okay. When was the last time you saw that? Was it a family reunion?
No, it was when this case was brought up.
Did you ever want to access her phone?
I'm sorry.
Did you ever want to access Dabney's phone?
Are you referring to me trying to repeat
After the
that?
accident? Yeah.
Yes, I did want to try to repeat the act to see if it was happening.
And were you upset that you were not allowed to see Dabney's knee phone after you tampered with it?
I was never allowed to see hers.
Right. You were upset because you weren't allowed to see the phone.
Well, I mean, I got a different phone.
You want to read your statement?
That's what my statement says.
No, I might have put you in there.
Sure.
It's a fact statement. You guys have it.
I would estimate that I have spent about a dozen hours reviewing my notes and examining the me phone, though Orange would not allow me to see the actual me phone used by Dabney.
After you tampered with it, right?
I was not allowed to see the phone used by Dabney, so no, I did not tamper with it.
Objection. Stand up. One of you stand up. Object, repeat after me.
Objection.
Assuming facts not in evidence.
Assuming facts not in evidence.
Sustained. Ladies and gentlemen, let's stand back up. Motion to strike. Motion to strike.
Motion to strike
Motion to instruct.
and motion to instruct.
Okay, I see. Ladies and gentlemen, disregard the comments of the defense counsel about after you tampered with it. It's not in evidence.
How much are you charging Dabney to testify in court today? For you to testify in court today?
I didn't charge her for me testifying. I just charged her a flat rate of $1,000 for this whole case.
Okay. So what tipped you off on the point where you walked out of the meeting that day?
I was very upset that a good company like Orange was going to let everything they stood for be gone because of one simple mistake of not securing the phone.
And you said you didn't specialize in anything regarding to security, correct?
I didn't specialize in it, but I was familiar with it.
Okay. What is your current occupation?
I'm a computer security consultant.
And
Did you resign from Orange or they fired you?
It was both. I sent my resignation and they fired me. It's in the statement.
Did you get fired first and then resigned, or resigned and then get
I
fired?
sent my resignation and then the security people that were in my office. When I got that.
So how did you build, you had a security company, correct?
Yes, it's my own company. I'm self-employed.
How did you build a security company within 6 months after getting resigned or fired or whichever?
Well, it's not like a company.
How's this relevant?
She has a security company, and she used some of our, she would have had to use our computers and our clients in order to start her company.
What does this have to do with?
I don't know, it sounds real good. If you remember the question, you can answer it.
Okay, so it wasn't like I built a company from the ground. I was at my own home and I was a consultant, so I consulted people.
Okay, so you didn't use any of our clients in order to start your business up?
I don't believe so.
How do you find clients to start your business so quickly?
I advertised myself and they called me.
In 6 months?
Yeah.
Objection. Relevance, Jody's been gone from the company for
Let's move on to something else.
Yes,
I am.
like the next witness.
I don't think she has any more questions.
No, she doesn't. Can you step down?
We would like to call Hat Sawyer into the stand.
Okay?
Please raise your right hand and place your right hand on the Bible.
I do.
What's your name and record?
It's Swipe Sawyer. People call me Hack.
And then what is your education?
Currently senior at Petro Institute.
And do you have any type of skills?
I have a lot of skills, but I have a lot of interest in technology, and I like to mess around with technology and hacking and things like that.
And what about your mom and dad?
Well, my dad is also into technology. I grew up in a household with a great interest in technology. So my father was chief of technology for an organization called RISC, Roundtable for International Security Crises. And my mom has no formal schooling in her education in technology, but she grew up overseas in an area that's heavily involved in information technology.
So you grew up pretty much around town.
That's correct.
And are you part of any clubs or organizations at school?
Yes, we're part of an informal student club called WAR, Cyber Operations Raiders Enterprise. And we basically like to do online chats, gaming, and computer competitions amongst ourselves and with other college clubs.
And how did you hear about this backdoor to the
Well, I wrote about it on one of the online forums, look around on different websites, and I read on one.
And how did Core react to this?
Well, they were all excited.
And was it hard breaking into the phone?
No.
How long would you say it took you to break into the phone?
Well, it took me a few days. I'd say 3 or 6 days.
And how did you hack into it?
Well, I recalled from the post that I read online that it had to do with a flaw in the update process of the phone, and that there was through that there was a backdoor available. So I searched all these different forums that talk about. There's people that talk about like different programs and hacking and they post exploits and things like that. So I knew I had to find something that would that would ultimately exploit the firmware update process of the new phone. And on one of the websites, I did find 2 programs that I could use. One of them was called Inserter, and the other one was called Exploit. So after that, I had to find a way to get onto. I had to find a way to get it onto the phone, where the exploit program to work.
And earlier you said backdoor. Can you explain to the jury what a backdoor is?
Sure. So a backdoor in this context would be a means to gain access to a device without using the normal security procedures or access methods on the device.
And you also just spoke about exploit. Can you explain to the jury what an exploit is?
Sure. In this case, the exploit program that I used was a Trojan horse exploit provider or program. And what that does is it's a malicious program that appears to be one thing. It could be another program, or it could be a document, but it's actually acting maliciously in the background.
And do you know what a remote access is?
I do.
And what is that?
Remote access just refers to being able to access the device without having physical access to it, so being able to remotely access, control, and view the contents of the device.
So in this case, would you believe that that video was remote access?
Yes.
And is this your first time going after Orange?
Me personally, but core, I think core members talked about it in the past.
And
Not Orange as a company, but Orange Devices.
And how did you find that in this phone?
Well, it really wasn't too hard because the new phone was new, and the way that I thought I could implement this vulnerability or exploit program was to take advantage of the fact that we were using the same network at school. So I was able to find all the connected devices and look at the MAC addresses of them and figure out that there was really at the time only one new phone attached to the network. Since everybody knew that Dabney had a new phone, they bragged about it and things like that. I knew there was a pretty good chance that it was her phone.
So did you all get into the phone?
I got into the phone.
And once you all got into the phone, what did you do?
Well, we kind of tried to, when we were trying to do anything bad, so we were kind of messing around. Planted like some text messages and things like that.
And earlier in your statement, you said something about Llama 7. Who is Llama 7?
Llama 7 is Logan Donald. He was a student at Texas Polytech, same time I was.
Is he here in this courtroom today?
He is.
And is that Llama 7?
That is Llama 7.
And in your statement, you said you wanted to, in his statement, you said you wanted to get into this club. Is that correct?
I had interest in it.
And how do you feel about it?
How do I feel about Logan?
Yeah.
Well, he's just known as a talker.
And did you have class together?
I think we had one class together.
No further questions, John.
Yours?
You said in line 48 of your addendum fact statement that Orange Technology is a joke, correct?
It's a joke. It ended up being a joke.
Why is that?
Because it was, everyone thought it was a good product and hard to get into, and ultimately it was not.
Do you have, you have tried to go after Orange products before, correct?
Yeah, I said that the core members had talked about it in the past.
Were your other attempts successful?
No, they weren't my attempts. Not that I'm aware of.
And you said you knew Dabney was a dedicated Orange user.
It's kind of what she was known for around school.
And you said you knew Dabney bragging about how secure Orange products are, correct?
Can you repeat that?
You said you knew Dabney bragging about how secure Orange products are, correct?
I viewed her, right? She was known, as she talked about.
So you
you wanted to go after Dabney specifically because you felt like she had some superiority as an orange user, right?
Objection, speculation.
Overall.
No.
Why did you target her?
Well, I didn't target her specifically. I was looking for a meat bone.
How well did you know Dabney before the supposed hacking?
I didn't know her that well. Like, you know, as she mentioned, we had met up in the fall, November time frame. And then we shared a class together, but, you know, we weren't close friends.
You weren't close friends, but you guys shared chili cheese fries with Dabney at the Roby Plex a couple times?
Now, like I said, I mean, that was a couple of encounters, but we didn't hang out on a regular basis.
So, how'd you guys coordinate the Roby Plex date with her applying to meeting? How'd you guys do the Roby Plex date? Did you guys,
Well, it wasn't a date.
meeting?
How did we do it? Honestly, I don't recall. It wasn't a big deal. I think we just met there.
Okay. So how'd you get her phone number to hack her?
Well, I didn't use her phone number specifically.
You didn't use a random generating number program?
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about when I was looking for connected devices. I was referring to the MAC address on the phone. It's kind of like a phone number, but it's not
It's not the same.
the phone number you would call somebody.
Gotcha. You stated in your statement you couldn't pick her out of a lineup of two, correct?
Yes.
But you've seen her a couple times before, and you guys are neighbors.
Basically expressing that we're not very close.
Did you release the videos of Dabney?
No.
But you showed your other coworkers?
No.
You didn't show your coworkers any videos of Dabney?
No. I showed numbers of core.
You showed, sorry?
Showed numbers of core coworkers.
So that's what I'm asking you. So you did show people then?
Showed a few of my friends in the club.
So you came in contact with Dabney's wallet and PDA?
That's correct.
How long do you have her wallet?
Well, I don't recall exactly how long I had her wallet. Somebody gave it to me, and I returned it to her.
Who gave it to you?
I don't remember. I think it was somebody from Core.
Do you know what was in her wallet when you came across it?
No, I didn't go through it.
Okay. And did you take anything from her wallet?
I didn't go through it.
Did you tamper with her PDA?
No.
Okay. When did you return her PDA wallet to her?
I don't remember the exact date.
When you did return it, did she seem bothered that you had it?
No.
How often did you work with your board members?
Like, how often did we meet?
Yes.
There was no set schedule at the time. Like I said, it was like an informal, unofficial club, and it was just a collection of students who had an interest in computers and technology, that kind of thing. So we kind of got together periodically and online, so you know, the formal business work.
And your core members considered you a script kiddie?
I don't know.
Do you know what a script kiddie is?
Yeah.
Can you explain to the jury what it is?
You know, script kiddie is basically just a kind of a low-level hacker, somebody who uses pre-written programs and scripts to pull off hacks. So, not sophisticated.
So basically, you're only able to do things when someone gives you direction.
No.
How did you
hacked into their phone?
Well, like I explained earlier, I was able to identify her phone on the network, and at that point I implemented the two exploits that I downloaded from the internet, which took advantage of the firmware update process. So the phone thought it was being updated, but it was actually uploading my malicious program, which then gave me complete remote access to the device once it was restarted.
Okay. No other questions?
Any regret?
No, you're on.
It's soon coming out. All right, next witness.
We'll call Taylor Brazil. Taylor Brazil.
Please raise your right hand and place your left hand on the Bible.
See,
Please state your name and number. And how old are you?
27.
Where do you currently live?
Please find a courtroom.
What is your education background?
I have a bachelor's degree from Virginia Tech in computer information technology.
And when did you graduate?
2003,
Where are you currently working?
Semantic Incorporated.
And what do you do for them?
I enter a new technology investigator.
What does this entail?
So anytime new technology comes out, any advancements in tech, I go through a course pretty close.
Do you have any certifications that allow you to do this job?
Yes, I am an Orange Certified Mac Technician. I have my MEOS Department Technician Certificate. I'm considered an Orange Product Professional, along with my Network Plus and Security Plus certifications.
Can you please explain to the jury what each of these certifications means?
Sure. My Orange Certified Mac Technician states that I am familiar with the operating system on their computers, as well as the hardware and software on it. The MEOS Department Technician Certificate states that I'm certified with their phone software or operating system and the any developing programs that they're attempting to put on the front. Orange Product Professional states that I'm with my general working knowledge of Orange products, I'm considered professional in their devices. The Network Plus certification states I'm a professional in general network infrastructure such as IP addresses, MAC addresses, firewalls, all that jazz. And the Security Plus certification states that I'm a working knowledge expert in network security and protocols. Excuse me.
When did you start working with computers?
Back in high school.
And how many products have you worked on for semantics?
About 100 or so.
And how many are you currently working on?
I'm working on 2 right now.
Can you please tell the jury what they are?
I am working on the Me Phone 2, the updated Me Phone right now, and I'm about to get the Me Air when my partner is finished working with that.
At this time, I would like to qualify Taylor Brazil as an expert witness in computer operating system security.
I think she wants to have testify as an expert. Y'all will check. Okay. Court will allow him to testify as an expert without objection.
Just for clarification, do you work for Orange?
No, I do not.
And does Semantic have a relationship with Orange?
There is no relationship.
So it's a completely independent.
Correct.
Can you please summarize what you do with the products that you test?
Sure. When I'm given a product, we put it through Kali Linux for penetration testing and vulnerability scanning.
And what is Cal Linux?
It's a operating system on a computer that is especially designed for penetration testing and vulnerability scanning.
What is so important about penetration testing and vulnerability scanning?
So through penetration testing and vulnerability scanning, you can look at security flaws such as weak firewalls, open backdoors, ports, and all of that.
And what information do you look for?
Our policy states that we look for exactly that, stuff like weak firewalls, open backdoors, ports.
And once you found the information, what do you do with it?
Once I find my information, I write it down and then I give it off to my partner so she can take a look at it as well.
And who's your partner?
Erin Johnson.
How do you know each other?
We were college friends and now we work together.
When Erin tests the products after you, does she have your notes?
No, she does not.
And does she test the same material?
I'm confused.
Does she test the exact same phone that you tested?
No.
So when did you start working on the B phone?
The day after launch.
And what were you expecting to find on it?
I was expecting to find zero-day exploits and backdoor hack jobs on it.
Can you please tell the jury what a zero-day exploit is?
So a zero-day exploit is a exploit on a vulnerable piece of software that the manufacturer does not know about, and the reason it's so vulnerable because it is unknown. You have 0 days to react to it.
And can you please explain a backdoor hack job?
As hack, I believe the name was previously stated, what a backdoor is. It's simply a third-party hack coming from another application or the internet through that open backdoor into the phone to start major security systems.
Did you find either of these issues on the phone?
No, surprisingly.
What did you find instead?
I found an open port.
What was the process that you used to find this port?
So we put the phone through Kali Linux, put it through the firewall test, and then the scan for open backdoors and ports.
How long did it take to find this open port?
About 3 days.
How many ports are on the phone?
About 600.
And which port was this one?
Port 589.
Did you do any testing any extra testing after you found the open port?
No.
What did you do after?
I made a note of it and sent it to Erin for her to test.
What did Erin find when she tested the phone?
She found the same open port.
What did you do with the information after she tested?
We took that information to our supervisor.
And what did he do with it?
He took it to our CEO, who took it to Orange.
So Orange was informed of this issue.
Correct.
Did you do anything else with the information?
Yeah, we spoke to our lawyer and put it on our blog.
Is posting information on your blog common practice?
Yes, we do it after every security flaw that we find.
And about how many people read your blog?
We have about 6,000 followers or so.
In your opinion, is this port something that should have been left open?
No.
And should Orange have known about it before they released the phone?
Yes.
Is it something that could have been easily closed before the release of the phone?
Yes. All it was required is a software update.
And how much would a software update cost Orange?
No,
And about how long would it have taken?
a couple of months.
So they would have had to push the release date back?
Correct.
Have you run any tests on the phone since you found this open port?
No.
Why not?
I'm working on other products and I don't have time to go back and test it.
That's any questions?
Cross-examination.
What is your highest level of education? What is your highest level of education?
bachelor's degree.
What are your various what are your various certifications again?
The Orange Certified Bike Technician from the EOS Department Technician Certificate, the Orange Product Professional, the Security Plus, and the Network Plus certification.
Isn't it true that you have to take certain tests in order to be qualified
Correct.
for these certain things? Did you take those tests?
Yes,
Did you pass those tests?
I did.
How did
That's
you
why I
pass?
have my certification.
Okay. Do you have certificates proving that you did?
Yes.
Well,
Move on.
So you allowed him to testify as an expert by without objection.
And I'm sure there are other questions that Becca wants to ask that are more relevant to his testimony, since she only has a couple of minutes.
when did you purchase the new phone?
We purchased it on launch day
Why did you purchase it?
because it was arguably the biggest product of the year coming out.
But in that position, you said you purchased it the day after.
Purchased it the day out.
You purchased it, so you purchased it the day up. And you say you purchased it because
Does it work?
of work. So you test every new product that comes out, or just the new phone?
Every new product.
What other products have you tested?
As I previously stated, there's over hundreds of products that are, about 100 products on the test.
And do you check those products for the same thing?
Yes.
You said that Systematic had no relation to Orange. Is that correct?
Who's systematic?
Cemented. You said that Cemented had no relationship to Orange. Is that correct?
Correct.
So, are you guys certified to? So the phones that you tested, they were both new phones, correct?
Correct.
Who did you purchase those new phones from?
From our local Orange store.
A local Orange store?
Yes.
That were
Charlotte.
authorized by Orange to
Correct.
sell new phones?
Yes.
And there were two different phones.
Yes.
What? You said that you found, what port did you find? That was a
589.
589. And with that port, how did you get into that port? How did you get into the port?
I didn't get into the board. We found it was open.
You found that it was open, but you say that you got through my knee space, correct?
I did not do that.
You didn't do that? So you just
I found the open
You
port.
found the open port.
Yes.
And with the open port, isn't it different from a firewall?
It's a hole in the firewall, yes.
So a port and a firewall are the same thing? Is what you're telling me?
So a port in the firewall is essentially a door through the firewall. So when y'all left the port open, there is an open door in the firewall allowing access into the phone.
And when you found this port, you said that you guys are the ones who put the news article out there, is that correct?
Correct.
Did you put it out there with the secure port? Or did you put it out there stating the port that was open?
No, we did not specifically state which single port was open.
So is it a possibility that with this news article, you could have influenced people to go after Orange security, correct?
We put it out there for our clients who did buy the phones.
Well, you said that you had 6,000 people who view your blog, so it's a possibility that someone else could have seen this blog and kind of reacted to it. Is that correct?
Objection, badger, no witness.
Oh, this is not bad. Overrule. You can answer the question.
What was the question?
So you're telling me,
It's maybe somebody else saw it off the blog.
is it a possibility that someone else?
Certainly a possibility.
Okay. Who did you contact at Orange?
That's above my pay grade. All I know is our CEO contacted us.
So you assume?
Let him answer his question. Go ahead and answer the question.
Our CEO contacted Orange. I never asked questions on it.
So you didn't ask your CEO who did he specifically contact at Orange?
No.
Why didn't you ask?
Because I need to do my job and get on to other products.
So you don't necessarily know if he did or if he did not contact someone at Orange?
was told that he did, and I have faith in our higher-ups that he did, because they've never let me down before. But no, I did not go back and follow up.
No further questions.
Anything else? Okay, think you can come down. Is that your last witness? How many more witnesses do you have? Okay?
We call Aaron Johnson to the stand.
Please raise your right hand and place your right hand on the Bible.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. I swear.
So, why did you?
Their witness. They get to go first.
Can you please state your name for the record? Aaron Johnson. And how old are you? I'm 31. Can you please tell the court about your educational background? I have a bachelor's in science from Virginia Tech in computer information technology. And what is your current occupation? I am a new technology tester for Symantec Inc. in the Portland division. And what kind of training did you have to have to do this job? My bachelor's degree and then also the certifications that I brought to Symantec. Prior to your current occupation, did you have any other experience working with computers? Yes, I was working with a Orange authorized service provider throughout my college years. And how many years of experience do you have working with operating system security? About 10. And how many penetration tests have you performed? Over 100. And how many projects have you worked on? Over 100. Do you have any special certifications that are pertinent to your position? Yes, I do. And what are those certifications? I'm a Orange certified Mac technician. I am a MeOS development technician, as well as an Orange product professional and Network Plus and Security Plus from CompTIA. And can you please explain to the jury what those certifications mean? Of course. As an Orange authorized Mac technician, I was trained by Orange to know what to look for flaws in their hardware and software and how to fix it. As a MeOS deployment technician, I was trained by Orange on what their new software was supposed to look and act like. So I was able to test it for them. As a Orange product professional, I know the Orange products inside and out, just like one of their employees would. As a Network Plus certification, I know network hardware, as well as infrastructure and how firewalls and ports are supposed to work. For my Security Plus, I had to know security protocols as well as firewall algorithms and things like that. At this time, I would like to qualify my witness as an expert in operating system security.
That's your offer as an expert.
I would like to qualify her.
That's what you were just doing.
I want to offer her.
The objection, you're testifying as an expert. The court will recognize her, or will allow her to testify as an expert without objection.
What is your relationship with Taylor? We were college friends and now we are colleagues. And how long have you worked with Taylor? About 3 years at Symantec. Why did you and Taylor decide to analyze the new phone? It was a new technology and we analyze all new technology. When did you purchase the new phone? We purchased them on launch day. And where did you purchase it from? At the Orange store in Charlotte, North Carolina. What testing did Taylor perform on the new phone? He did penetration testing using Kali Linux. And can you explain to the jury what penetration testing is? Penetration testing is basically going at a firewall on a device and checking to see if any unauthorized activity is allowed through that firewall. And how is the unsecured port located? Unauthorized activity was allowed through that specific port. And which port was found unsecured? It was 589. And what is this port used for? To
That port is used by third-party programs as well as websites like MeSpace and Weather.
And why did you not do the initial testing on the phone?
I was working on the MeBook's most recent operating system.
So you attempted to test Taylor's findings,
I did, yes.
and were you successful?
I was, yes.
What was the process to test Taylor's findings?
So because we knew that MeSpace was one of the programs that used the open port, I decided to try to go in like a hacker would. So I looked up Taylor's username on MeSpace and then used a dictionary attack to find his password. From there, I went into his MeSpace settings and looked at the IP addresses that were connected to his account, one of which was his Me phone. And then from there, I just hitched a ride on the MeSpace connection into his Me phone and sent him a funny picture of a dog.
And can you explain what a dictionary attack is to the jury?
A dictionary attack is a way of trying to get unauthorized access to someone's personal account. In this case, what I did is I had his username, which was Taylor Greasy, and I used a document full of known passwords and just tried him against it and was able to get it within a couple of days.
And how long does this program usually take to get into somebody's account?
Between 3 to 5 days.
And how long did it take you to get into Taylor's MeSpace?
About 3.
Once you gained access to Taylor's MeSpace, what were you able to find?
I was able to find the IP address and MAC address of his specific phones, as well as any other devices he had connected to the MeSpace. And I, through knowing the IP address, I was able to hitch a ride on the MeSpace connection to Taylor's phone to plant the photo.
And did Taylor go through all the proper steps to test the phone?
Yes, I did.
Did you ever compromise the quality of the phone while testing it?
No, we did not.
Since this testing was performed on 2 different phones, how likely is it that there's only a few phones with this defect?
Very unlikely.
And why is that?
The 2 phones were manufactured in 2 different places.
And how did you know that?
As part of my Orange Certified Mac Technician training, they taught us to look for the serial numbers so that we would know where the devices were manufactured so that we could point out any manufacturing plants that were having troubles with quality, and these were 2 different manufacturing plants.
Once you found this defect in the phone, did you contact Orange Inc. personally?
No, I did not.
And why didn't you?
Because we put it through our supervisor who goes to the CTO.
Did your supervisor contact Orange Inc.?
Yes, he did.
And did Orange act on this complaint?
They did not, no.
What did you do once you discovered that Orange was not going to fix the defect?
We posted to our blog so that we can help protect all Orange users from a very big security flaw.
And what happens to the cell phones once you're through testing?
They get put into a vault.
Do you ever retest these phones?
We do as the companies put out software updates.
Have you retested the Me phone?
Yes, we have.
And was the defect fixed?
It has not been.
In your opinion, can a phone company be proactive to hackers?
Yes, they can.
And how can they be proactive?
Hiring companies like Symantec and those like us and having us check the security of the software.
Is using white hat hackers part of most company security protocol?
Yes, it is.
So Orange is behind by not using them?
Yes, they are.
Why do you retest the phone?
So that we can update the blog should the issue be fixed.
And why do you retest them and not Taylor?
Because I am the senior new product tester.
No further questions.
The witness.
So, why did you purchase your phone?
It was part of my job as a new product we purchase all new products so that we can test them.
But in your affidavit, you said that once Apple announced that they could download third-party programs, you needed to get the phone to your department for testing, correct?
Correct.
So based off of what you said, how would you have known that something would have possibly been wrong with the phone when you bought it? When you bought it the day of?
Anytime that you are allowing third parties into your security, into your algorithms, there's always a chance of holes being left open, especially since you are working with companies all around the world. For example, Kaspersky, which most of the jury's probably heard of, they are in Russia, and they use different ports than what we use here in the United States.
What is a third-party program? What is a third-party program?
A third-party program is a program that is not created by Orange.
Okay, and isn't that a user issue and not a service provider issue? Wouldn't it be, or anything dealing with third-party programs, according to the policy, wouldn't that be a user issue and not a provider issue?
Why would the provider keep the phone open for third parties if they weren't secure in the phone?
Doesn't a screen come up every time? Now, correct me if I'm not right. Isn't, when you have the phone, isn't there a screen that pops up before you gain access to this third-party app that tells you what your phone can be, or what your phone or your computer can be exposed to before you use these so-called third-party programs?
No.
There is none whatsoever.
Once you open a third-party program, you get the third-party program's terms and conditions.
Your Honor, yeah.
Sure.
Can you explain this, please?
That's a new phone.
Okay, and how do you know it's a new phone?
The 30-pin dot connector on the bottom is something that's proprietary to Orange.
And you said that you did testing on this product, correct?
I tested a Mi phone, yes, not that specific one.
Okay, but you know enough to explain
Yes.
about the product. Your Honor, I would like to introduce this as evidence and post it.
That's fine. There were consequences for introducing evidence in their case, but that's fine.
You might want to wait till you have
Well,
your
okay,
expert.
You objected to introducing this?
I would wait till
Okay, okay, Your Honor.
Because then
I would
her
like to-
expert witness can
Yeah.
open up the app to show the user agreement, which is also known as a terms of agreement.
Okay. And am I asking these third-party programs, what do the users expose their devices to?
If the ports that are used by the third-party programs are left back open by the software developer of the original operating system, they are leaving their products open to whoever can gain access to it.
What were the plants that the phones were manufactured at? The two different phones that you and Taylor used, what were the name of those plants?
One was Foxconn in Shenzhen, China, and then the other one is, I'm not sure the specific company name, but I do know it is in the Philippines.
Was it a service provider that was approved by Orange?
Would Orange have a company that's not approved by them manufacturing their devices?
In your deposition, you stated that in order to get into someone's actual phone, someone would actually have to know what port was unsecure, correct?
Correct.
According to your statement, it was Semantic who released the news article, correct?
We did not release the exact port number in the news article.
But you said that in order for someone to know, in order for someone to have remote control or complete control of someone's devices, that they would have had to know what that exact port was, correct?
Correct.
So with you releasing a warning, warning, you could have possibly influenced that. It's a possibility that someone else could have seen outside of that.
That is a possibility, yes.
And you also used MySpace to go through that back door, correct?
I'm not sure what company you're speaking of.
No, I mean MySpace. You use MySpace to go through that port, correct?
Yes, because they are one of the companies that use that specific port.
But you say in your firewall, a firewall and a port, you thought you found a hole in a firewall and a port. Those are two different things, are they not?
They are the same thing.
So you telling me that you got access through the phone, through MeSpace, a third-party program, by only having access to a username, correct?
Correct.
So if Dabney was to lose her phone, was to lose her wallet before she claimed that someone had got into her hat, how detrimental would that be if someone had got a hold of her information before?
As detrimental as you walking down the street and telling someone your first and last name?
And they don't even have to have her social security card to do that, correct?
No.
They can have anything like her ID or anything, just to be able to get into this, correct?
To get into the phone?
Yes. To get into the phone. And have complete control of it.
Of the phone, yes.
Okay.
Anything else?
So can you explain again what you use Kali Linux for?
We use Kali Linux to actually probe the firewall to see which ports are open and allowing unauthorized access and which ports are closed and not allowing unauthorized access.
And can anyone use Kali Linux?
Yes, they can.
Do you need a license to use this?
It's a free program that you can download online.
No further questions.
Anything else?
So you saying with phone companies, they can only be you say that they can be proactive.
Yes.
But the technology is expanding every day, and hackers are trying to, if hackers are also expanding at the same rate, how is it possible that a service provider can know what to protect that phone from if you say that hackers, if they want your information, they will find a way to get that information, regardless of the security systems that we have set in place?
How a company would do that is keeping a
Objection, compound.
That's close. Outside the scope. Same.
Yeah.
That it?
No further.
Okay, thank you. Ma'am, you can go. Any other witnesses? All right, we'll take a recess.
5-minute recess. You guys stay here for 1 minute.
Yes, the Honorable Superior Court has now resumed its sitting for the dispatch of this regular business. Everyone will come to order and give the court your attention. God save the state and this honorable court. Please see it, please.
All right, let's listen to this. Okay.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Could you please state your name, please?
Need works.
And where were you born?
I was born in Ocean, Tacoma.
What is your educational background?
I attended Panhandle JC.
And what is your current occupation?
I'm the CEO, founder, and chairman.
Could you give a brief history of how Orange was created?
We come from very humble beginnings. We started in my basement. Me and Lynn, I actually met her through a computing club after I had returned home from school. And, I really do some great things together. So we started in the basement. She worked diligently at me as well, and we came up with a couple projects. I was real lucky. We were also very smart. We got real lucky. Got a big break and took off from there.
Did you create the company by yourself?
Me and Lynn.
Was your partner vital in creating the company?
Absolutely.
Was there any particular area of technology that she was gifted in?
She was very good. When she started with, she had a job with Amari, and one day after computer cleaning, she invited me over and showed me, something like that she liked doing at the time, and she was so giving. She could do anything with that. What she started doing was like mimicking telephone lines. She could do anything. She was a genius.
What is different from where your company was when you first started compared to where it is now?
Say that one more time.
Where did your company first start compared to where you're at now?
Well, like I said, we had humble beginnings. We started from our garage. And then we expanded. We worked diligently. We launched a lot of products, a lot of hours. We didn't sleep a lot. And we were able to move from our garage. Now we are a world-renowned company.
How did you come up with the name for the company and other products?
I had the personal touch. See, the products, like, for example, the orange tube, our original product, orange came from my mom. My mom has a tree, and the orange, the colors from the generated from the screen reminded me of the orange blossoms from the tree of my mom. And Mia, my mom, it was a first computer we made. It was a Mia and the Mia 2. Mia came from, that's my mom's actual name. So I have the personal touches on this product.
What kind of security did you have on the earlier generation orange products?
I assume you're referring to the orange POS.
What kind of security did you have on the earlier generation orange products?
Security. We had open architecture, and what that was is when somebody can go in and kind of implement their own things and make it their own. And because of this open architecture, it was actually a very bad idea because we were then a minor player in a major role we played in the system. So with this open architecture, people were able to come in and do whatever they wanted. And so they could make their own implementation. And so we opened basically the competition.
Why did you change from the open architecture to the closed?
Because not only were we at risk of becoming minor players, viruses were very prevalent at that time, and they put our consumers at risk. So early on, I noticed, we noticed that this could not happen because this was put our consumers at risk. And this product, this company is my baby, so I have to make sure that my consumers are protected. So I have to go to them.
How is a secure architecture better for consumers with more products?
It protects them from hackers and viruses and things of that nature.
Did the creation of Orange create more jobs for your hometown?
Absolutely. It's created a bunch of jobs. The population grew tremendously. We had, I think, about 250,000 computer engineers and like 1,500 farmers. So we grew. It was the town of Mooshu to the city of Mooshu.
After your partner's accident, was she still part of the company?
Absolutely. I'm a firm believer in loyalty, and she's family. She started this with me. it was, and let me explain the accident, if that's okay. What happened, my partner Lynn, like I said, we had at the beginning. She was working late night in the lab, and she was working on a project called the Nerve, and it fell on top of her. And she was not right ever since. She forgot everything she knew about software. She was not right. She never recovered. But because of that, I didn't. I couldn't just not leave her out, because I couldn't leave her out because she family. She started with me. So I kept her on the chair. I kept her on the board. She had stock in my company. She handles like HR things. Like somebody died, she flowers. I sent her to meetings and little programs. So she's been very helpful.
During what year did you take some time off of work?
It was around 1992 to about 1997.
And why did you decide to take some time?
We found it Orange in 1976, and we were pushing this thing like it was. I needed some time because, like I said, we were pushing it, and everything I did was for the company, and I felt like I needed this a little time so I could just recollect and refresh myself, because when you handle everything, it's easy to get burnt out. And so I just needed to step back. But even on my break, I was sailing, I was traveling, I was still making connections with. I was meeting people from all over. I was away from work, but I was still pushing the company. But I just needed a little time.
What was the state of your company when you returned?
We needed to launch another product. I was surprised of how things were going. We were in need of a killer product. We needed to start getting back to work. So I came back at the time.
What did you decide to do in order to return your company to its very successful state?
I returned in 1997. So 1998, we launched the Me Box. 1999, we launched the Pad. 2000, we launched the Me Piano 7, and then that's when we started working on the new one after that.
Have you heard of any other claims of phones being hacked into, such as the plaintiff Gavin Hammond?
You said, have I heard?
Have you heard of any other claims, such as the ones we made here today, with the phone being hacked into?
Our phone?
Yes.
No, not until this happened.
Is it usual for only one claim to be made like this?
No, because if it happened, we'll be here once, you're going to hear it again.
No further questions.
Ross?
You said that you and Lynn highly developed, correct? And what year was Lynn's accident?
Actually,
And what was her role in the company?
she was co-founder.
After her injury, what did she do in the company?
Like I said, I kept her on board. She's having, I'm not going to get her. She stood outside in the company. She was really more of HR rather than systems.
Did she ever publicly represent your company?
Yeah.
And what did she do in the public?
Like I said, she was HR, so I sent her on programs. She handled like things with our employees. It's like she was very in touch with our employees. So if something is wrong, like I said, like if somebody passed away, they had a family and passed away, she was in the house.
Did she ever give presentations on software?
After the accident.
Your Honor, may I please approach the witness?
recognize this?
Yes.
Has this been altered in any way?
It's been highlighted.
Your Honor, I would like to enter this as evidence and publish it to the jury.
Okay. Any objection to Plaintiff's Exhibit number 4? I'm sorry?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, submitted.
Can you please read the date of this board meeting?
December 2nd, 2003.
And can you please read the first part of the question?
Bergamot, which was attended the National Music Teacher Meeting in Atlanta last month and gave a brief, extemporary presentation regarding new uniform score, writing software.
So she gave presentations on software after her injury?
It not with a knee, like, it was like a piano, it was like another product, like, that was the National Music Teacher Award, so it had nothing to do with it.
In the meetings, it says where you just read regarding new DPOM. So she gave presentations on the DPOM after her incident?
And it says staff member Jackson Brown and Bergamot. You just highlighted Bergamot though.
But she was still there at the presentation?
I said it.
Okay. So you let somebody with a head injury that doesn't know really anything about software still go with the company and give presentations about software? Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
Jackson Brown is the one that gave the presentation. Bergamot is the assistant.
Did Bergamot ever work on the DPOM?
The bond work.
Was she on the team?
She was on the team.
Did she ever give any concerns about the DPOM?
When did, like, I guess.
After the incident, did she ever give any concerns about the hacking of the DPOM?
Yeah, she did.
Okay. Do you attend all the board meetings?
Yes.
Do you ever get copies of like the meeting notes or anything?
Yes.
And do you ever read them?
Yes.
Did you create a system, the dot dash system?
Yes.
So you only read the dots and not the dashes? The exhibit that you have up there, can you please read the dots?
Meeting called to order at 2:00 p.m. by Eve Works Chair. Minutes were approved as amended. Report from Chair. Finance Committee report provided by Committee Chair Elizabeth Drucker. Board Development Committee report provided by Committee Chair Douglas Carver. Other business assessment of the meeting adjournment.
Can you please explain what this meeting was about?
Yeah, we were talking, well, at first we was talking about the accomplishments that we had, that I called the meeting. Talking about the accomplishments that we had so far, and to discuss another product that we needed to launch.
Were you ever aware of any concerns about hackers of the DPOM? Did anyone ever bring this to your attention?
Yeah, I mean, okay, so when we first started, I knew about hackers and stuff because of the open architecture that we had, and so that's why I implemented a closed architecture so we can stop that. So I was very aware of the problem, yes.
So whenever your employees came to you and said there was a concern, you didn't do anything about it?
I have an open door policy, so anybody can come at any time. If I'm not there, they have my number, they have my email. I'm not hard to reach, so which is why, can you repeat your question? I can talk first.
We're gonna get has Orange Corporation ever been sued before? And when was the lawsuit? Objection, relevant. Lawsuit, they lost a lot of money, so it could be the reason why they pushed for the home to be released sooner.
Same. Disregard that comment.
Do you feel like the phone was pushed quicker than it was supposed to?
No.
Was all of the security tests completed?
I'm just trying to
Did you see the paperwork? Who done the testing?
food?
We had a team, and I'm pretty sure because of the testimony earlier, it was called Project Descendant, and in that project, testing was done.
So which team member signed off on the completion of the security phase?
Everybody had their input on it, so everybody should sign.
Did you ever hear about the concerns about Jody? Jody
What
Cross?
concerns?
About the hackers? Were you there at the meeting?
I was at you.
Objection, I stand. He's already been asked a question.
That's the rule. Who asked it? She asked it twice?
She's asked a question previously about if he
And then that's the good part, yeah.
A couple of seconds to come to it because we need to move on, so the bailiffs
Why
can
did
get
you
out of here
ignore-
by 5.
Why did you ignore Jody?
I didn't ignore her.
So when she walked out instead of addressing the issue? Your partner was Lynn, correct?
Yes.
And the paper that you have up there, can you please read the second highlighted portion?
Furthermore, I explained reservations with exposing our proprietary device directly to web concerns with hackers and virus issues.
If you cared about her concerns, why didn't you take them into consideration?
You asked about Jody, you didn't ask about me.
I'm asking about Lynn now.
What was your question about me again?
You said Lynn is family and you want to keep her in the company and everything. Do you not take her advice? Since she is your partner, you care about her.
It's noted. But like I said, she hasn't been the same since. But I mean, everybody has a good idea every now and then.
Any further questions?
Any further direct examination of this witness? Thank you, sir. Are you next witness? Are you next witness?
You want to call homicide?
Yeah.
State your name.
Homicide.
When were you born?
September 18th, 1985.
Where do you live?
In my parents' basement, 713 River Walk.
And why do you call it? And why do you call the basement your commencing?
That's where all my stuff is on my computer. It's on my computer screens.
How did you get into computers?
It started with my dad. He gave me my first few.
And what did your dad do?
He worked at Texoma Data Systems, so he was just a lifetime worker there.
Would you say that this sparked your interest to learn about computers?
Yeah, I would think, I'd like to say that.
To the point that you began to teach yourself C and C++.
Right, so he gave me the stuff and I worked on it, and by the time I was about, I think it was like 4th or 5th grade, I started teaching myself C++ and C++.
In general terms, what is C and C++?
So it's just basic programming. It's just, that's all it is, it's a basic programming language.
So you would say that you know quite a bit about programming, correct?
Yeah, I would say so.
What college did you attend? What college did you attend?
Texoma Polytechnical Institute.
And what was your major?
Computer science.
What made you attend this school?
They had a supercomputer.
And what did you eventually use the supercomputer for?
So the supercomputer could crunch numbers and algorithms super fast. So I would use said ability to crunch the numbers with census data. And I make my own algorithms and scripts that would crunch for me and create answers for me.
And you did this, you used these census data to do what?
So we could use the census data, which is just like names, jobs, gender, age, stuff like that. So we would use this census data to create passwords. So if we wanted to get into a security hole, we would just use that to create a password, to see if we could crack or hack their password, guess their password.
But you never stole anything, right?
When we went to security holes? No, we never stole anything.
So what was the main purpose of you doing that?
It was to show that we did it, to show that there was a hole, there was a flaw within the security. So we just did it. And then we usually look like a small calling card to say, hey, you're here.
But you never, again, damaged or destroyed any system?
No, that's not cool.
You knew Hacksaw, correct?
Yeah.
And he wanted to join a group you were?
Yes. He thought he should.
And what was that group?
It was the Western CWM.
Why didn't you let him join?
I had seen his work and it was not sophisticated.
And why do you think that it wasn't sophisticated?
Hacksaw didn't. I saw some of his work before, and it was just war driving, ping flooding, changing banners on websites, you know.
And what is a script kiddie?
So, a script kiddie is someone who has to use a script of some sort, some type of instruction to do something. You can YouTube how to hack into someone's Instagram right now, and that is the same thing as a script kiddie. So, to me, I think that's what a hack is. That's what I say he is. So he's not original. He has to use someone else's work to do his own.
And you guys had a class together, correct?
Yes.
And what class was it?
It was algorithm analysis and data structure.
And what did the course consist of?
So it was basically kind of like programming, but it was looking at different specs, looking at different algorithms and analyzing them to what they were.
And this would have been a field day.
Oh man, it was so easy.
Hacker, I mean, experienced hacker, correct?
Yeah. Someone who actually knows what they're doing. Yeah, it was great.
And would you consider yourself an experienced hacker?
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty good at it.
How did Hack perform in class?
He was clueless the whole time.
How do you know this?
So we had to work on a group project together. It was just some basic programming stuff, and he turned the computer on. I mean, he turned it on real well, and then he needed to leave. So, people that actually knew what they were doing could do it.
You also mentioned in your statement about him skidding and war driving. In general terms, what is war driving?
So war driving is driving around and trying to either get into someone's Wi-Fi, either secure or unsecured. If it's unsecured, then it's just logging in. And if it's secure, it's trying to see if they can't hack the password or two.
So if a person's Wi-Fi is hacked into, not only could a person have access to the person's phone, but everything that the person's, or every other device that the Wi-Fi is connected to, correct?
Correct.
But would you consider this a security issue, or is this a user security issue?
I think this is a user security issue. I mean, the day and age we live in, if you don't secure your own Wi-Fi, if you get hacked, that's on you.
Objection, improper expert.
He's not offering an expert opinion. Overall.
But hacking occurs by the second, correct? And hacking occurs by the second, correct?
By hacking into the Wi-Fi?
No, I was like hacking in general.
Yeah, so getting into the Wi-Fi, getting into the device, that would be the hacking portions.
And this occurs on a daily basis, hacking. How?
Well, I mean, hacking's always evolving. There's, not just myself. There's plenty of people out there who do it. So they're constantly just trying to crack the next code.
So if both are being enhanced at a rapid speed, how can phone companies protect their consumers?
So they can,
Speaking from a hacker perspective.
I mean, they can only be reactive. They can only know and learn from the past. So they can only make things and make firewalls to go from what past incidents did, fix bugs and stuff like that. So we always get updates on our iPhones, iPhones, or other devices. I mean, a service provider or a phone company could create 20 different ways on how to protect themselves. Well, a hacker might create 21 or 22 ways. So there we go. I have 2 ways now to get through your device that you didn't think of. So after I get into it, then you have to be reactive. You can't be proactive to every single thing.
And what is social engineering?
So social engineering is tricking someone or manipulating someone to give you information, whether it be personal or secret. But usually it involves getting just basic information, name, dates, date of birth, where you're from, etc.
So what does this have to do with social engineering?
So if someone had that type of data, if you just had your name, address, anything that could be found on the driver's license, you know, I could throw that into my algorithm and crunch it out and create passwords that potentially might be yours. So does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. So with the information that you provided and the fact that in the past that you have already established, do you think that this is something that hack is capable of?
No, this is actually sophisticated. I mean, the peak of his performance, downloading a program, having to use someone else's work, and, you know, you changed a couple of web banners, you know, did a little graffiti on the wall, you know, real cute stuff.
No further questions.
You happen to the system to change your grades so you can apply to college, correct?
Yep.
And you never graduated college, correct?
It does say in my affidavit that I do graduate. Since after we graduated TPI, we stopped with the, I think it's like the second page, first few paragraphs.
And in college, you also made money by doing what?
We created a website called Flint.com.
And your statement said you never damaged any system, correct?
Correct.
But you did be back towards them, correct?
Well, yeah, we didn't close it. We just left the common card in us.
Which could potentially lead to hackers, other hackers, going into, correct?
I mean, we share that information first.
How do you know Hack Sawyer again?
We were in a class together.
And have you guys worked on projects, correct?
We worked on a project, yes.
But you never went to class. So how would you know of Hack Sawyer's capabilities in a group project?
Objection.
Overruled.
How would you know of Hack Sawyer's capabilities in a project if you never went to class?
I mean, maybe a certain class, like CS 314 or whatever it was, interested me, so I did show up to that class. Multiple classes in college. I don't have to show up to every single one of them.
You said in your statement you never showed up to class.
I'm nodding to that question.
That's high school students or college?
Also, in your statement, you said Hack Sawyer could only get to the new phone if someone wrote a script from it, correct?
Correct.
But also in your deposition, you stated that you don't know if Hack Sawyer had help or not.
I'm not saying he's ever done, but I know his sophistication level when it comes to hacking, and I assume that he did.
Which caused you to deny his access to your group, correct?
Repeat that, please.
Because of capabilities hacking, that's why you denied him from your group, correct?
Correct.
Could it be that you're jealous that Hack Sawyer?
What's there to be jealous of?
Objection.
Withdraw your ground, no further questions.
I don't hear what ground are. What's your objection? Did you withdraw?
No question. No further questions.
Anything else?
No.
Seven? Mr. Seven.
Robert McConnell.
swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your full first name and last name for the court.
Robin McConaughey,
And where do you live?
Texas,
Where do you work?
current,
Currently.
Orange.
What is your educational background?
For my bachelor's, I attended the University of Glasgow in majored in computer science.
And in general terms, can you explain what computer science is?
Computer science is basically design and study of computers.
What did you do after receiving your computer science degree?
I was a security consultant and a systems engineer.
And what subjects did you study in this? And what subjects did you study in the course of obtaining these degrees?
I took many courses, mainly focusing on security and courses in cloning and eavesdropping.
And you have a master's and a PhD.
I do.
In what?
My master's is in computer technology. My PhD is in computer security and cryptology.
How many professional papers, if any, have you wrote?
3.
What practical experience do you have dealing with the issue of this?
I was a computer security consultant and a systems engineer before Orange.
And please state the duties that you completed while you were working
As
as a security consultant.
as a security consultant, I worked with MI5, which is basically military intelligence level 5, and as a systems engineer in a game call in a company based out of the UK.
And how many years of experience do you have?
15.
Do you believe that your testimony will be helpful?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, at this time I would like to qualify Dr. Robin McConaughey as an expert.
To offer her as an expert.
Yeah, I'd like to offer her.
I object, she never said what type of experience.
That's a good point. Expert in what?
Computer science and security.
Science and security.
Computer science and security.
Do I have an objection?
The witness did not state where her upper degrees came from, like a master's PhD.
That's a good point. Overruled. Or will allow her to testify as an expert in the field of computer science and security. Let's roll.
What year were you contacted about Orange?
2004.
And why did they contact you?
To aid in the development of the project.
And what were your primary concerns?
Cloning and eavesdropping.
In general terms, what do you mean by cloning and eavesdropping?
Cloning is basically pirating a person's phone ID and information on the phone and making it reappear as the original phone. And eavesdropping is monitoring a person's phone.
And what are they commonly used for?
Billing and fraud.
And how did you resolve these issues?
Enhanced firewall protection.
Did any other issues arise during the development process?
We had issues with viruses.
And how did you resolve those issues?
Again, enhanced firewall.
In general terms, what is antiviral software?
It's basically programming that defeats malware and anything that could potentially harm the firewall.
And what does it prevent?
Antiviral software and viruses.
Where is it located in the phone?
The programming too.
And is it something that the user has to physically do to activate?
No, notifications are automatically pushed to the phone.
Could you elaborate on the firewall and digital encryption that were used in the development process of the new? Did you bring any diagram to help you do so? what these are?
I can't.
What are they?
This is a firewall coaster.
What's the number on it?
This is exhibit 2.
That's exhibit 1 for you guys.
And this is exhibit 1.
Tell us what exhibit 1 is.
Exhibit 1 is potentially the lock and key.
Did this exhibit your other issues too?
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine. All right, tell us what exhibit number 1 is.
This is the lock and key exhibit, basically explaining the phone is the lock and the hack is the key. The other is explaining firewall.
Exhibit 2.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce these as Mr. Process Engineer.
The injection. Okay, to be without objection, we sit down and do some. Please, as you're referring to the exhibits, for the record, give us the number.
For exhibit 2, it is getting a firewall. And this is the firewall. This is your internet. Here's your phone and the computer. The firewall is potentially blocking anything that can harm the phone or your computer, whatever you're using, from the internet. It's basically filtering in anything good, anything bad. The firewall's main goal is to stop any potential thing that can harm the phone. So it's going to let in, as used before, as you're downloading things from iTunes to the phone. It's going to allow that. Using any third-party apps, such as anything out of the Orange, or if you are prompted when downloading to that is not approved, it will allow it to potentially stop as a firewall. Exhibit 1 is picking the lock and key. The phone is the lock and the hack is essentially the key.
In what ways does the enhanced firewall protect a consumer's phone from? In what ways does a firewall protect a consumer's phone?
Stop anything that goes to the firewall to hurt the phone.
So was testing conducted?
Yes.
Why are you here today?
It's alleged that the plaintiff's new phone was hacked into using a backdoor.
And you were not concerned about those issues, correct?
No.
And why?
Because I am very confident in our firewall that there is no way that it could have been hacked.
And you were not concerned, you also say that you were concerned about these issues because you viewed them more as a user issue, correct?
Correct.
Could you give me some examples of user issues?
Passwords and downloading third-party apps.
It was Jody who proposed the hiring of criminals during the development process.
Yes.
Why didn't you side with her?
I felt the new phone was passed using criminals to hack into the phone. We were beyond elementary assaults.
And why do you think that was a bad idea? Why did you think this was a bad idea?
Again, the new phone was past elementary assaults.
When you say that you were not concerned, does this mean that you were not concerned at all?
No.
How do we know this?
The new phone is unhackable. If there was a hack or a hole in the firewall, we would have known before the product was released.
Dr. Carl, McConnell, I want you to take in consideration your experience, your education, the firewall and encryption that was used in the development of the new phone, and the facts that you have already presented, and tell me your professional opinion on the alleged hack, okay? Were you the one who conducted the carefully examined?
Answer that one.
Huh?
You wanted to answer that question?
Oh, no, I just said okay. Were Were you the one who conducted the carefully examination of the actual phone utilized by the plaintiff?
Yes.
And what did you find when you examined the phone?
The firewall was intact, the phone was intact, and it appears that the phone was hacked remotely.
And based off of the information you found during the examination, what did you conclude?
There was no fault in the firewall, and the alleged hack is impossible.
Based on what evidence?
The firewall was intact, and nothing was out of place when I was with the phone.
And in light of this conclusion, and the conclusions that you made based on the media stories regarding that, and what were your conclusions made? I mean, what were your conclusions made on the media sources?
They're all rubbish. Any outlets that claim the hack was successful is a lie, and I would tone it down to anyone that says the hack was successful.
And what led you to this conclusion?
If Orange's best security expert could not have hacked the phone, then the phone simply cannot be hacked.
How many times have you personally tried to replicate this?
No less than a dozen times.
So what is your overall conclusion?
If Orange's best security consultant could not have hacked the phone is unhackable.
No further questions.
So you just said that the phone was hacked remotely, right after you said the phone wasn't hackable. Can you please explain that?
Can you say your question again?
You just stated that the phone was remotely hacked.
Alleged to be remotely hacked.
In your statement, it says that the phone was accessed by remote operations.
Correct.
So does that mean that the phone was hacked remotely?
It could have been.
So why would someone with a PhD in computer security and cryptology leave an open port on the phone while doing security checks?
I did not leave an open port.
We had two expert witnesses testify that port 589 was left open.
We would have caught it before the phone was released.
Is there a reason that you oppose using white hat hackers?
No.
So why did you not bring them in to test your product before you released it?
Because I felt confident in the people that we had, that we didn't need any outside sources testing our phones.
So when you wrote all of your papers, did you have somebody edit them before you published them?
I did.
How is this phone different than that?
Papers and phone are two different things.
So you should have caught all of your own spelling errors and grammar errors in your papers?
I didn't major in English, I majored in computer security.
After the phone was released, were you promoted?
I was.
And what did this promotion entail?
What did I get from the promotion?
Yes.
I had royalty on all iPhones sold and use of the corporate jet.
And what was your royalty of all the iPhones?
10%.
Your statement was 1%.
1%.
And about how much did a new phone cost?
Around $5.99.
And are you aware of how many new phones that you sold?
I'm not.
You sold 6.1 million new phones.
Objection irrelevant?
Oh. Do you know how much you made with your promotion?
I do not. Around, well, I want to say 5 or 6 million.
You made around $36 million with your promotion. If the phone had not been released around Christmas, would it have sold as well?
Most likely, I was very confident.
So why did you not hold it back if you were confident that it would have made as much money?
What do you mean by the question?
When someone on your team brought security issues to you, why did you release the phone instead of looking into her?
Because I felt there were no issues, so we went ahead with the
Is there anything in your contract with Orange that prohibits you from talking about security laws when it becomes a problem?
In our enhanced viruses, yes. think I've done in the past.
No other questions?
Anything else?
With 589, the 589 court, which was access to a third party program. Once again, is that a user issue or is that one issue? Okay. Isn't there, as referred to before, isn't there a policy on MySpace that says, on eSpace that says that allows users to know what their phone or device or anything would be access to through the user agreement? You want to round this with me? Sure.
I know y'all are close together, but speak loud.
Oh, can you tell me what this is?
It is asking you for your personal information for eSpace.
And is this through, and by doing this, could it, just by doing this, could this expose your phone? Could this reduce your phone security?
Yes, it can.
And with the private policy, it tells you that, correct?
Yes. When you agree to sign up to that website, it does.
And with this reduced security, could that also potentially allow someone else to obtain your information just through
Yes, it can.
logging on through this or any device?
Yes.
Your Honor, could I introduce this?
Sure. The objection on introducing the e-phone. Senator Hughes, what do you want to do with it now?
Hand it to me because I signed the chain of evidence for it. Methodist knows where I work.
Anything else? Anything else?
Is Port 589 something that can be opened by the users, or is it something that has to be left open by Orange?
Can you say it again?
Is Port 589 something that has to be left open? Could a user open Port 589?
Really?
And how would they do that?
By downloading a third-party app.
So just by opening an app, you can open a law on your phone?
Yes.
Any further questions?
Anything else? Hold on, that's it.
You can by downloading a third-party app, correct?
Yes.
You can allow access,
Yes.
that specific access.
By downloading a third-party app, yes.
No further questions.
Any questions?
Sorry, how would a user get a third-party app on their phone?
By downloading anything that is not approved by Orange.
And where would they get this download from?
Simply Google anything. So it is not approved by Orange, and you bypass our security measures, you're downloading a third-party app.
So downloading something from Google makes it a third-party app.
Depending on what it is, yes.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Did you hear Lana Seven's testimony?
Yes.
Would you consider what he said he did hacking that phone?
In what way?
However you describe hacking a phone. Yes or no?
And you kind of answered it already. You just told us how you get into someone's phone.
So, yes, I'm assuming.
Any questions based on the questions the court asked from the defendant? Any plaintiff?
Do you still hold that your phone is unhackable?
I do.
Even after you just admitted that it has been hacked?
I didn't admit it has been hacked.
All right, thank you very much. Hey, that's what-
Oh, there.
All right.
Move me there.
Can I have closing arguments?
Yes.
All right. court will defer to Ms. Monaghan to tell me the order of the closing argument.
Plaintiffs go first because they have the preponderance of the evidence and well, both parties. He's going to take that, but they go first.
All right, in first and last or just first?
We only have first and last. We don't have rebuttal.
Okay. All right. Parties ready? Hold on just a second. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, you now hear closing arguments of the attorneys. It's improper for an attorney in the final argument to become abusive or to check facts or experiences which are outside the evidence. If an attorney attempts to restate a portion of the evidence and your recollection of the evidence is different from that of the attorney's, you are to be guided exclusively by your own recollection. You may proceed.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm representing the plaintiff here that we have. I am merely just a steward of facts, searching for the truth. As you see here, we have Dave Works, a CEO who only thinks about himself. He doesn't seem to feel like security of the company is the number one priority. And we also see, as we heard from Robin, she has said that if it's unhappy, why would we be here in court today? Let's think about that. Please place yourself in the shoes of our client, Diamond Cameron. She had lost everything. She can't go to school. She lost all the scholarships. Her credit score is low. It's real low. She's a 3.7 student. She's a 3.7 student. And she got her first seat off of this. And what the defendants are trying to say is that it was unhappy. Now, we are here today to get you to come on our side, to understand what we're trying to prove to you all. All these expert witnesses have told you all that the phone wasn't ready to be pushed out. As we see, the CEO, and it works, you push the phone to be pushed out anyway, just for sale, just so they can compete with their competitors. So we ask you here today, come to the plaintiff's side, understand what we're trying to propose, and make the right decision. I'm not your great.
Ladies and gentlemen, I represent Orange Company. As you heard today, the plaintiff claimed that we pushed a product that we allegedly thought that we knew would be detrimental to our consumer. Neve is a hard-working CEO who started his company from the ground up in his parents' basement. From his parents' basement to becoming a multi-million-dollar company. The plaintiff, Gabby, is a college student. You guys remember when you were college students, correct? You had, when you first got that credit card, you wanted to buy everything. She was a college student who was a new credit card. She had a credit card ever since she was 16. Didn't have a way to pay her credit card, the money that she had spent on her credit card back. Lost her wallet and her PDA prior to the fact that she claimed that her phone had got hacked into. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you sit back and take a look at this information that has been handed to us today, if you lost your wallet or your PDA, what would have been the first step that you took in order to protect yourself, not everybody else, but yourself, from having your information compromised? North Carolina is a contributory negligence state, meaning that if you have 1% doubt in your mind that she didn't do everything in her power to protect herself, her information, she knew that. She had a relationship with that. She went to, she even get chili cheese fries with her. If you're telling me that you don't have a personal relationship with somebody that you get chili cheese fries with, and that's a specific order. Chili cheese fries. that you don't know him and he can't pick her out of lineup of two. It just doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, a third-party app it don't automatically voids the warranty, but if you download a third-party app, there is a screen that comes up. Everybody in here has a phone. And every time you download an app, what pops up? A screen that lets you know the disclaimers of what your phone or what your phone can have or what that app can have access to of your phone. So when you do that, from then on, if it's a third party, then it's considered a user issue. And at the end of the day, like I said, her credit card, and not even her credit card, but her wallet and her PDA was lost prior to the fact. And if you think about it, if she did not lose her wallet, would we really be in this situation today? And that's all I'm saying.
We don't have a verdict sheet.
I don't have a verdict
All right, I'll leave one up. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you now heard all the evidence and the arguments of counsel. Assuming your duty to decide from this evidence what the true facts of the case are. The plaintiff in this case must establish the following elements by a preponderance of the evidence to sustain the burden of proof. Dabney Hamilton must prove that Orange Inc. was negligent in its design of the knee foam, and that this negligence was a proximate cause of the damages sustained by the victim. The elements of negligence are as follows: that the defendant owed a duty of care to the plaintiff. This element has not been disputed and should be taken by you as proven. The defendant breached that duty of care. And third, that this breach caused some damages to the plaintiff. Let me give you the following instructions. Preponderance of the evidence means the greater weight and degree of credible evidence admitted in this case. It's not proof beyond a reasonable doubt or proof beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's a preponderance of the evidence. Negligence means the failure to use ordinary care. That is, failing to do that which a person of ordinary prudence would have done under similar or same circumstances to prevent an injury. Ordinary care means that degree of care used by a person of ordinary prudence under the same or similar circumstances. Proximate cause means that cause which in a natural and continuous sequence produces an event, and without which such cause, the injury would not have occurred. In order to be a proximate cause, the act or omission complained of must be such that a person using ordinary care could have foreseen would cause that event. So, I charge that if you find for the plaintiff, you are to mark the verdict sheet so accordingly. If you find for the defendant, you mark the verdict sheet so accordingly. The first duty when you retire to the jury room is to select one of your members to be your foreperson. The foreperson should lead you in your deliberations. When you have completed your deliberations and have found unanimously for one party or the other, please knock on the door and the bailiff will have you return to the jury room. Jury to the jury room. And
All right. Those of you need to stay till the end if you want to get credit from me for my class. And I have a sheet of paper that you will sign after they all come back, so you can get your extra credit. No, you were not signing it. You're not signing.
I got sure along with you. All right. You ready?
Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to give you a little critique of your performances. First of all, just like every time I've done this before, I've done this 6, 7, 8 years. It's just like every time I've done it before. I got good news and I got bad news. Okay? The good news is that some of you, and it's also the bad news too, some of you did a better job than some of the lawyers that I see every day down here at the courthouse. I applaud you, and this audience should applaud you too. Now, ordinarily, in the beginning of the year, I would come out to the class and teach a class and kind of tell you how this is supposed to go. Unfortunately, Ms. Vonnegut and I couldn't arrange that at this time, and I wasn't able to do that. You know, I told the jury that I didn't read this, but I did. Not everything that I said in here was right, and I know it's not right. I made some rulings just to move things along, and I made some rulings to add a little humor. I want you to relax. I want you to have a good time and to learn something. It took me 2 or 3 years of doing this to find out that some of you were actually terrified and hated this exercise. To me, this would be fun. I would love to do this when I was in college and law school every single day. And it took me several years to realize that some of you might indeed be terrified. All right, opening statements. Morgan Faircloth. Good voice. You laid out your cause of action. You were a little nervous, which is fine. You listed your witnesses and told a little bit about what they were going to testify about. That's very good. Very often in the opening statements, people just waste an opportunity. You need to tell who your witnesses are, tell what they're going to say. This is your chance to tell your whole case before they ever hear it. You got to remember, these people up here, I don't mean anything disrespectful to anybody, but a jury is not very smart. Really. They don't know what's going on. Y'all have prepared in real life. We would have prepared for this case for months and months and months. And then you know it so well, but they don't know a thing about it. All right? You talked about what a hacker was. The only thing I would have done other than list my witnesses is I would have pointed them out. Point them out. You spoke a little too fast and it was too short. I like what you said, and you picked up on it in your closing. Put yourself in my client's shoes. That's very, very good. Nina, you touched the jurors in a personal way. You talked about them being parents. That was very good.
No, that's Nina.
Nina, okay, I'm sorry. Well, all right. You personalized the defendant. You know, here's this big corporation over here that's got lots and lots of money, but you turned it into a person, so you personalized him. You had a good voice, you were confident, but once again, it was too short. And I don't know what kind of time limits Ms. Molly
They're only
used.
given 5 minutes.
Okay. Nobody used 5 minutes. Dabney Hamilton. And then Molly Cross. Now, when I come out and teach earlier, I will tell you that something is going to happen today. I can tell you, I can read the future. I know that some of you will do this. And what happened then? And where did you go? What happened then? Where'd you go? So that's your answer? Okay? Okay? We have these idiosyncrasies. The lawyers down here have them, and it's distracting. Several of you do this. You start every question with "and," you say all the time. One thing I was glad I didn't hear, which I usually hear from this generation, is "like" about every third word. I only heard "like" a couple times today. Back to Molly. Introduced to the exhibits. The copies were good, but nobody ever gave any exhibits the whole time. Nobody gave any exhibits to the jury. Okay? These are great to have a copy to the clerk, to have a copy to the other side, and have a copy to the judge. You need copies for the jurors. None of these exhibits ever went to the jury. And this one right here, with the highlighted stuff, that's a killer exhibit that you almost didn't get your second point in until I started waving the flag. Our witness, good voice, good presence. You spoke a little too fast. You said to a lot of the answers, but you knew your part extremely well. Nina, again, good start. Talked about other ways to finance school, then you moved on to the next issue. I would tell you, if I'd come out earlier, that on cross-examination, it doesn't need to be long. You need to jab, get your points, get your points. Now, what do you do with these points? You collect these points, and you collect your points too, but particularly on cross-examination, you collect your points, and then you come back to them in your closing argument. I know in my mind this is not true, what I'm getting ready to say. I believe in my heart it's true. I know in my mind it's not. Any lawyer can win any case with a good closing argument. Now, my mind tells me that's not true, but my heart makes me believe that it is true. That's the most important part of a jury trial, outside of the jury selection, which we didn't do. Good start. You moved on to the next issue, which I can't remember what it was. It was short and to the point. The part about January 1st or January 20th, that was a wasted point. The wallet in the PDA, that was a more important point, that she had lost her wallet in her PDA. Exhibits, like I said, you need copies for everybody, and y'all got to introduce them. Both sides just forgot the exhibits. Okay, Jody, or as I like to call you, totally Jody. Mr. Diggs, let's go with you. Good voice. You used and. You were very confident. It was a very good direct. You were a little weak on the introduction of evidence, but introducing evidence is hard. And I forget sometimes you're not real lawyers, and that you're not even real law students, and that you're taking a law class in undergraduate school. You had good response to the defendant's objections, good direct of all things. I always get this, I can't read my own writing. With phone insecurity and hacking. You explained, your witness explained that a lot. Jody, you're the best witness of the day for a lot of reasons. Okay? And some of you who do well will get to wear one of these. And those of you who don't do well will still get to wear one of these. Good voice, very confident, you knew your part very well. You used an example. If Judge Ammons did such and such, I can't remember what it was, but it was about hacking and across the street or something. You used an example to explain your testimony, very good. You talked to the lawyer, but at the appropriate time, you turn to the jury and explain the important things to them. And that's what a good witness does. You turned to them when you were explaining cloning and eavesdropping. You did a great job with the exhibits. Cross-examination, I'm coming back to you. Cross-examination, is it Perry?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
No background in security, that was a good point. You were very aggressive, and that's good. There are very few lawyers that probably don't know who Perry Mason is, do you?
No, we do.
All right.
We do.
Dr. Ziegler does. All right. Very few lawyers are going to get that Perry Mason moment where you're going to get the witness to break down and go, oh my God, I lied. You're right. They're not going to get that too often, although I've seen it twice in my career. And there's nothing wrong with being aggressive. Somebody made an objection about badgering, and I said, that's not badgering. I've seen badgering. Very aggressive, you were good, you knew the facts, and you twice used the fact sheet to try to impeach the witness, which was very good. On cross-examination, Jody, you had good responses, and how many agree with me? We saw an attitude, right? We saw an attitude. And that's fine, because that's what real witnesses do. They get PO'd on cross-examination, and you showed a little bit of that. It was very appropriate. Attitude on cross-examination, just like a real witness.
Keep them back there, Jesse. We're not done yet.
You got it heard already?
Yes.
Oh my God. You had lots of attitude. I'm telling you, just like a real witness. I mean, really. Hack. Where's Hack? And Mr. Diggs again. Earlier, you asked him this question. Earlier, you said back door. Can you explain what a back door is? Remember, these jurors don't know what that is. That was very good. You got him to go back and explain his testimony. And sometimes that's hard to do when a witness is telling his story. You want to back them up and say, well, hold on just a second. Can you explain to us what a back door is? Very good. You pointed at the video and asked about remote access. That was very good. And this is really good here. Is he here? Is he here in court today? Oh, is he here in court today? You had him point Llama 7 out. That was very good. Perry, we'll go to you. You knew the facts well on cross-examination. You used the fact sheet several times. That was good. You obviously studied these facts well. Not as good as Llama did, because he was going to the page. But you obviously knew the facts well. Script killer. Script kitty. You had a very good exchange with the witness on that, explaining what that was. Who was our witness? Your hat. Okay. Good voice. You were smooth. You were confident, just like a real hacker. You knew your part very well. You had all the technical lingo down. You explained the terms backdoor, Trojan horse, remote access. Across, I thought there were very real answers to the questions, and your answer about targeting her, she asked about a targeting question. You had a very good answer to that. Taylor, okay, Molly, and Ms. Curry, right? Okay. Let's go with Molly first. Good questions, pretty good job qualifying the expert. And these are hard things to do. It's hard. It's a sequence you have to go through. And none of you got the last part. I'd like to qualify my witness. Well, that's what you've just done. You'd like to offer your witness as an expert. And you actually do need to say what field, and one of you caught that. I got it. So back to Molly. You did not have the proper language in offering. I would like to qualify. We've already gone over that. Curry, good pointing out the lack of a graduate degree, but something about an expert. So okay, but then. Huh?
They already asked for an objection, and she was trying to point out that.
Yeah, some of the objections were late. You had a good point on cross-examination, and then you moved on, which is something that you need to do. Witness, good voice, a little low. You knew your part well. You responded well on cross-examination. On cross-examination, and I don't know whether this was acting or whether it was real. I like to think it was acting. You looked a little nervous and frustrated on cross-examination, which you didn't look like on direct examination. And that's how real witnesses get. And then you admitted not following up. Aaron Johnson? Where's Aaron? Okay. We'll go first to Morgan. You were good at setting the qualifications, but I heard and. Good qualifications of the expert, good questions to get the evidence out. And then you ask this question, and how do you know that? That's an excellent question. How do you know that? He ran the red light. Well, how do you know that? I was standing right there, I watched, and I had a camera. How do you know that? People often forget to ask that question. Then you ask, in your opinion, such and such. Then you talk about white hat hackers. And then you talked about retesting the phone. All of those were great questions. Curry used issues, provider issue. User issue versus provider issue. That's kind of the heart of your defense. Part of the heart of your defense, and that was good. And you were good with questions about the phone. The witness, good voice, a little low. You were confident. You knew your part well. Good answers to produce the evidence. You put their evidence out there. The two of y'all worked very well together in getting out your part of the evidence. You were very knowledgeable. And I had a question. It appeared to me that the two of y'all, Morgan, y'all had worked a lot together on this. You either prepared a lot, or you've been friends in the past, or there was some evidence there that y'all had this down, that y'all spent a lot of time doing that. You knew your part well, and good answers on cross-examination. Never works, or needs work, right? Nina, okay. Voice was a little low. You personalized him. Then you got to, after personalizing him, making him look like a human, how he brought the business up and all, you got to the meat of his testimony, which was the security, the jobs, his partner's accident, his loyalty, all of this. Good points about only one complaint. That's an excellent point. Only been one complaint, millions of phones. Morgan, good exhibit number 4, but needed copies for jurors. This is good stuff. The hacker's concerns. You need to get it in the hands of the jury, and that's this thing right here. And I had to kind of wave it to get the second part. This is good stuff. This is really good stuff. It contradicts a lot of his testimony. That's what you should have concentrated on and gotten all that in. There was a lot of other stuff in there that you didn't need. Witness, good voice, you knew your part. Your answers, your demeanor, and your persona were good. And I'm always amazed at how much some of y'all get into these parts and how well you do portraying something that didn't happen. It just didn't happen. But you made me believe it happened. You were very real, very human. You had a lot of ums in the middle and in the front of your answers. And you had very good answers on cross-examination. That was a tough cross-examination, and you did well. Mama 7, all right, it's always a favorite, you know. Always the eclectic witness, all right. And that's you this time. Good, Corey, back to Corey. Curry. Good introduction into the witness, and you did a good job again. You were very into your part. Obviously, you knew your part. You had the mannerisms down. I mean, you just looked like that guy that was that person. You just looked like you had the lingo. You had that arrogant, cocky, nerdy, all kind of. You were very real. Diggs, very good objection, but I overruled it anyway. But it was a very good objection. In real life, I wouldn't have overruled it. It was about the improper expert, right? Something about And Diggs, you had good questions. He was a tough witness. He was a tough witness, and you did a good job. And you obviously knew your part.
That's all Rebecca.
Yeah.
That is all her. She, meeting after meeting after meeting of like, let's get this in. So that's all her.
Well, they did a good job. Y'all both did. Robin? Where's Robin? Okay, let's go back to Ms. Curry. You had trouble with the qualifications. I heard the and some more. Diggs, once again, had a good objection to a question. O'Hara had an okay objection, but I overruled it just to keep things rolling. You did a good examination of a good witness. You got to the key of your defense. You can't hack this phone. That's the key. All right? Although, with some help, they blew that up. Professional opinion, good question, but you need to let the witness talk more. Get it out. You missed a good question. You asked a very long question. I can't remember what it was, and then I said. Then you went on to something else. I said, well, you want him to answer that. That was kind of the key. And then you kind of went back and picked it out a little bit at a time. So you made good points twice. And let's see, who did the cross on that? Okay. That was the best cross, I thought. Good point about the hacking, querying the statement. You need to find it in the statement, though, and go point it out to them. You did get into admit that. Good point, and you on promotions and the money, that was excellent. I wrote down very, very good cross. Witness, where's our witness? Good witness, but you needed that accent. I kept waiting for this Scottish accent. You know? I guess you went to Glasgow, Indiana, right? It's hard to do these parts. We've had men play women and women play men. And, I won't ever forget the girl that played the prostitute.
Oh, God, yeah.
Y'all got our faves.
Well, that's because she took the money out of her bra.
Yeah. You knew your part. You were very confident in your testimony and in your presentation. I thought you did excellent.
Can't remember.
All right, closing. You missed it. Okay? You started off great. Please put yourself in the shoes of our client. And then you just went away. You got the burden of proof. You needed to talk about those elements that I had right here and say exactly what I said. 3 elements. Defendant owed a duty of care. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been admitted. Negligence, breach the duty. If such and such is not negligence, then I don't know what is. We know what happened here. You know what happened here. Talk about this evil corporation and all the phones they sold and all the money and how greedy they were to come out before Christmas. And my client has suffered. You talked a little bit about the suffering, but you have got, this is your point, to drive it home. And in real life, y'all would have gone second. Yeah. Because you do have the burden of proof. You would have had the choice to go second. Excellent closing argument. You had some humor in there. You made your points, and you said why you can't find for my client. I would like to have heard a little bit more about the burden of proof, although we did hear about contributory negligence, which is nowhere in here. Nowhere. So you must have done some research and found out about contributory negligence.
You guys always remember that when I teach you that. The one concept they remember.
That's because it's such an evil concept.
It is.
But when I asked for motions at the beginning, you should have asked for destruction of contributory negligence, so that the judge says the exact same thing to the jury. Now, let's talk about the jury. They've got a verdict here. To me, it's immaterial what they do. It really is. And I know everybody wants to win, and every time I had a moot court competition, I wanted to win, you know. It's really immaterial. What is material is what y'all done here, all right? Because this is not real. We're not playing by the real rules, and they're not real jurors. And we would have kicked some of them off because I'm sure some of them have some prejudice either for or against Apple or for or against college students or something like that. We're doing a snapshot of a trial right here. So don't worry about what the verdict is, at least I don't. I think you all did an excellent job, witnesses, lawyers, parties, everybody. Anything that I've said is meant as a constructive criticism, and this is what I would say to a law class that had done this in law school, or a set of lawyers that I was teaching who'd already graduated from law school about trial ed. Y'all did an excellent job. They deserve another round of applause.
Those of you in litigation, do not leave. We need to help Paul Joseph take things out, including ready to get Ellen Hancock's her screen back and her cart back. So we will let the jury in.
While they're coming in, I want to say one last thing. I'm amazed at some of the technical knowledge.
All right, we're good.
I have no technical knowledge. My son who just graduated, my daughter just college graduate. They laugh at me all the time because I had a flip phone from about a year and a half ago. But the technology, the knowledge that y'all have, some of these are in other classes, some of these witnesses are in other classes.
Yeah, they're in my, they're in forensics class.
Forensics class, they did an excellent job. All right, let the record reflect that the jury is now back in the courtroom. Who speaks to this jury?
I do, sir.
All right, you stand up, just answer my
We the jury
hold on.
find.
Just answer my questions, yes or no. Has the jury come to a unanimous verdict?
Yes.
Have you written it on the verdict form?
Yes.
Ordinarily, we'd let the clerk give it, but since you're such a...
I'm sorry.
Would you please announce the verdict to the court?
We the jury find that the defendant did not breach his duty of care to the plaintiff.
So say you all. If so, raise your right or left hand. The court sees 11 hands. Any motions require the presence of the jury from the state? Plaintiff? No. From the defense? All right. I think that they would benefit by hearing a critique from some of y'all. Y'all keep it kind of short in case all of you want to speak, but we'll start wherever.
And Judge Emmons, I have to laugh because he's sitting in your back, but Austin Warren, who you said was your expert FBI agent, which he now is. So Austin has done this for long legal. So when you guys give your comments, introduce yourselves because some of these students don't know who you are. So.
I think y'all did very good. I heard there was a shakeup with...
Yeah, guys, you got to give this team credit. 2 days ago, Carrie Ann found out that she was stepping in as an attorney. The attorney that was supposed to be here was Jasmine. And as you guys know, which is a good thing, our women's soccer team left this morning for Texas. Jasmine was one of the attorneys. They had been working with Jasmine all semester. The other thing is one of their witnesses is also on the women's soccer team. So that gave them one, the witness you guys are probably why you didn't hear from Lynn, his partner, is because Capri's in Texas.
Phoenix Lynn, I went Phoenix Lynn.
Phoenix Lynn was ready, but she is in Texas at the NCAA tournament. So they got thrown in the fire very quickly, very quickly. Terry Ann had to step it up and work with Nina and Rebecca. And Nina had to step in and do the opening, which she was not planning on doing, and I told her she did a hell of a good job. So, guys, they really, this shows, that's real life, though.
Yeah.
That's real life. So.
And we had a similar situation during my mock trial, so I know what y'all are going through, the frustration, but just in all essence, just always be confident. Like, don't come in and act frustrated or anything, just be confident and go with it. But overall, I thought it went well.
Introduce yourself.
Do what? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
I'm Casey.
Oh, come on. Casey, why are you sitting in that chair?
Because I'm an alum of MU and I graduated in December. Yeah, that's pretty much it. sorry. Nothing special
And
right
Casey
now.
did mock trial.
Yes, I did. I did do mock trial. I was actually a best friend of the girl who killed her stepdad. Anyways, needless to say. You guys done, both of you guys done really, really well. On the prosecution side, you were almost there. You just didn't, it wasn't the right, you were almost there. The right questions just weren't asked. And you were like almost there, legit almost. If you could have asked like 2 or 3 more questions, like in my mind, you would have sold me. But it just wasn't like there. Like,
But they did sold you because you voted for them.
Yes.
Now, who are you talking about as the prosecution?
No,
The defense team.
No.
No,
The
she's talking about
plaintiff.
the plaintiff.
I'm so sorry. I'm
Don't
over
get
here
me
like,
confused.
woo, because
She's saying the plaintiff was almost there,
they
almost.
were almost, like, you guys were legit almost there, but it just didn't. But both of you guys done really well.
Next.
My name is Matthew Dempster. I'm also an alumni and also did mock trial, and now I work at the university as the director of environmental health and safety. I guess my thing that I would bring up is that during lines of questionings, along with what Casey was saying, is that you guys would build up to a point and tell a story, and then all of a sudden abandon it and go on a completely different track. And we're left here like, what? I turned to her and I was like, wait, what are they talking about? It's very important to keep the lines of questions to build that story, because you're trying to convince us to go with you, and if we can't follow what you're saying, we're left to be like, what? So that would be my recommendation, is just make sure that you're building that story that you want to tell to get your point directly across, because there should be no guessing.
Hi, my name is Natalie. I'm currently a student at Methodist University. I graduated in December. Ms. Monica asked me to fill in as a jury member. I think overall you guys did a great job. Personally, I don't like public speaking, so I think already, like you guys, like volunteering to do this is great. I think the mock trials are a great learning experience, because I didn't know they existed until I got here. So I hope that like you guys can take something out of it. And like he said, just be confident. I think you guys did a really good job. And the recommendation I'd follow as well is like establish a story. I think the first thing Ms. Vonnegut always said in law and legal was you have to make a clear story so that your jury can follow. So that's one thing I would say, but overall, good job, guys.
Yeah, next up, Dr. Cronin from Methodist. You guys all were great. I think it's a really tough case because it's a little confusing. We got courts, we got third party thing, and that's kind of something that's having the burden to prove that was pretty tough. And for a lot of us, proving that there was actual damages because of the foam construction, that's a tough link to make, I think, and that's where a lot of us have problems.
One of the problems with this, and I discussed this case last night with 4 civil lawyers from Smithfield that I happened to be going to dinner with. One of the problems with this case is we bifurcated it for simplicity. So we didn't talk about damages, but damages is one of the elements. Yeah. So rather than proving the amount of damages, which they would have done at another trial had they been successful, they needed to prove some damage, and they needed to talk about that. The pain and suffering, the mental anguish, having to drop out of school, the ruined credit score, they should have identified that as a damage. Okay, back row.
I'm Jennifer Taft. I'm an instruction librarian at Methodist. I'm here because I like this stuff. So I think you guys did really great. I did this in the spring, and it just amazes me how believable you all are. Like, if I didn't know some of you personally, I would be like, oh, okay, yeah, they work for a tech company. But kind of like some of the other people said, there was points where you kind of built it up and were like, okay, yeah, you're there, and then you went off on a kind of a different tangent, and we were like, all right, well, what was the point of that? So I would just, like everyone else, I kind of just keep the story going.
Sarah C., Justice Studies Professor. Same thing, I think everybody did a pretty good job. Again, the same thing, it was following through with the questions, making sure that they're organized, because what I saw was a jump back and forth. Instead of once you had that path to continue to go, you get something and then you jump back 5 steps to go forward too. And it was just kind of like, that was where it was kind of difficult. And you, like, when she said you were almost there in some of them, and then you kind of take a back step, and we were kind of wondering, we were waiting for the question. I think that was what we were kind of like, and then it said that. So that's kind of, but everybody did a really great job and was prepared.
My name's Cheryl Behringer. I'm faculty at Methodist, and I had no idea about cybercrime until today, so this was very interesting for me. I thought the plaintiffs started out real strong with their questions, and they were on point for me, not knowing anything. And I felt that the defense was weak at start, but it made sense once we figured out what had happened and how you kind of filled in. And then you kind of turned it up. And I saw it come in at the end. And when you did the third-party app and explained the back doors and had your witness come up and kind of refute their witnesses, which you were really good, it made sense to me. It all made sense to me with having so little knowledge. And I have since deleted some apps off of my phone and thought about that afterwards.
And for those of you who are signed up for Law and Legal, I'm really excited because Dr. Behringer and the nursing department are working with me in the spring, and we have got a killer criminal murder case that her nursing students. And I just want to say real quickly, you guys who are cybersecurity help in this case, stand up. Seriously, stand up. Really good. You guys are the reason that all these people did what they did. They were just as clueless as you. They spent out-of-class time. They did all the exhibits. Sonia did all the work on that because she was awesome. They came up with everything. They met outside of their class time to help these teams do what they did. And that's one of the things of mock trial is we're trying to work with other disciplines to give their students experience on court and court procedure. And Carla was great. She came to me and said, hey, can we do this? And we started it last spring. We put this case together so that they would do this. So I can't thank you guys enough because you guys went down the hard.
Okay, I'm Michelle Taylor. I'm career counselor at Methodist University. Becca is my peer mentor. But I felt like they both groups did an excellent job, and I think this is a real good experience for them to get experience, to see if this is even what they really want to do, if they're even interested in doing. So I feel like both teams, y'all did very good. Also, like he said, the confidence, just keep your confidence level up. If you prepared and you did what you're supposed to do, then you come in here and that's how you act, So I think both groups did a great job.
My name is David Baggett. I'm a physician assistant. Matter of fact, I'm a Methodist University graduate, physician assistant program. And I always look around to see the people I've seen in the office. And I noticed when Wendy had you all stand up there that all the expert witnesses were standing. And for me, that was a salvation because I'm not so smart about cybercrime myself. And I'm with Cheryl here. I'm deleting apps off my phone for sure. Well done all.
I'm Mark Vasilio. I'm with the Applied Forensics professor there. Yeah, first, you all did very well. I was very impressed. For one, I thought the plaintiffs made a pretty good case, and I just don't think the evidence was present. You had a phone, and you just didn't have proof that it was hacked. I thought you proved that it could have been hacked very well. I thought, and you actually had some pretty good cross-examination. I thought as well. So, but I just don't think the evidence was there to support your case.
You
can hack.
Okay. Siri, out of here, baby. Siri's got a
All right, and the true expert over here.
I'm Sabrina Conchava, and I, along with Carla, teach with Carla in the cybersecurity program. And I agree with the plaintiffs. I mean, I think that you put on a strong case, but then you didn't really prove that it wasn't a third-party app that didn't allow the access to come in. And but other than that, my constructive criticism is the diagrams, because you showed us the diagrams, and I think that if you had relied more on the diagrams to help prove your case, I think that probably would have helped. So that's what they're there for. They are there to help you, to explain concepts to us so that we can better understand them. But overall, good job.
I want to take this opportunity to thank Judge Ammons. Guys, you don't realize he has been doing this on his time for so long that now some of the attorneys that are practicing in front of him, they were sitting where y'all were sitting. They're not attorneys, including Matt's brother, Drew. Drew did this mock trial, Matt is an attorney. He sees police officers that were police officers in mock trial. So I can't thank him enough for doing this, so just a little thank you from all of us. If you really want to thank him, close your ears. Guys, he is running for re-election. We're not saying vote, but we need to get him on the ballot, because if you are a registered voter in Cumberland County, in order for him to run for re-election, he has to get on the ballot because he is not affiliating with either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. So if any of you are registered voters in Cumberland County, and I promise you, you won't get like send me money things or anything. But if you would like to sign this, he would really, really appreciate it. I would too, because honestly, he's probably been doing this for me for about 13 years. And he'll be doing it again in the spring. And not once has he ever said no. And I can't thank him enough for that. So one way that you guys can help us maintain, have a great judge, is signing this petition, okay? So I want to thank all of you, those of you who are dying to get that extra credit, that are not in litigation. The sheet's right there. No, you're going to get great. I'm also and those of you in litigation, stay put, because we kind of need to help Paul. I need someone to take this down for Ellen. And also, real quickly, I want to thank Dr. Ziegler for coming. He has had a good you guys probably don't know, but he's had the other wonderful job of being acting dean of the School of Public Affairs and keeping all of us out of trouble. So I want to thank him for coming today. It was great to have him. So thank you all. Good job. I'll put this right here. Your register, sign,